The NBA draft. Yeah, no, I don't think so. So wait a minute. Green Bay got 600,000 people to go to the NFL draft. And last night, no kidding, I didn't watch a second of it because I have no interest in it. What's his name? VJ Stitchcomb? What? Edgecomb? That's who the Sixers have. Hey, let me kill my show now. Let's talk Daryl Morey. No, I don't think so. Go in there. And then you got a guy, what was his name? Who made sure that he didn't go to a place, he didn't want to go to Philly. What was his name? Ace Bailey. Hey, I hate you. Hey, I hate you. Hey, I hate you. Hey, Ace, I hate you. I hate you and your league. But I have to start it off with one of the greatest. Xander. Everyone. I know the world is upside down. You know how I know this? And we're going to get, like, the liberal media going nuts here. Is it right? A white dude got drafted number 1 overall, and you got a white chick who's number 1 in the WNBA. This has to be racist. This can't be true. Wait a minute. Cooper Flagg goes number 1. He's a white dude. And you have a white chick in the WNBA. I don't know. Hey, help me out here. I don't get it. I mean, surely the NBA is upside down right now. So hit the like button, guys. I appreciate you guys coming aboard. Also, all super chats go to the top. We appreciate you during this time as we are 16 days out from the Los Angeles Chargers reporting to training camp. By the way, we will be getting on during the season Jim Harbaugh. The Chargers follow me on X. Go there and check it out. They love Big Sills. By the way, the Bucks love Big Sills. The only team that really doesn't like Big Sills right now are the Eagles. You know why? Because they can't control me. The Bucks, the Chargers, the Giants, let's see, the 49ers, bunch of teams like us here. Oh, by the way, that interview now is starting to go around. The DDP interview we did, Diamond Dallas Page, starting to go around the room again like it did for Goldberg. Roman couldn't do it today. He's promising he will. He thought he could do it today, but he's going to try to come aboard with us. I will give you a day when Roman Reigns will hit the program, okay? So we will have him on. As you can see, the last 2 weeks, we got Diamond Dallas Page, we got Bill Goldberg. We're working on Taz and a whole bunch of other folks that we know in the WWE and also in the wrestling world. So we'll have those dudes on you as we get closer to training camp. I see you, Jahan Dotson. All right. I'm going to start this out with this. I think the NFL hates you, Philly. The NFL hates you. It's because I didn't believe this. I just did not. But they're after you. They are after you. It is hard to believe. You know, all of this cannot be coincidence. I'm going to tell you how. You ready? All right. So here's what I've tweeted out and what we've learned from the NFL. Are you guys keeping an eye? And it's probably a story that you guys aren't following very closely. The NFL just lost a case with collusion to the Players Association. They have just lost a major case. A judge ruled against the league. And you know what that process came out to? Here, let me read you my tweet. And I said it, the Eagles, for whatever reason, and I believe they're after Howie Roseman. The NFL commissioner and league, once again, are going after the Eagles. And I will explain, and we are now. Get this. This is what the judge ruled. there is little question that NFL Management Council and the blessing of the commissioner encouraged 32 NFL clubs to reduce guarantees to veteran contracts at the March 2022 annual meetings for the owners. Okay? That's just 2 years ago. In that meeting, they were telling general managers and owners, don't give signing bonuses. Try to reduce them as much as you possibly can. What does that mean? Well, a couple weeks ago, the NFL was going after the voidable years. Well, the two things that Howie Roseman and how he's able to keep players is the signing bonus money and the void years. What other team in the NFL uses those two loopholes better than name me another team that uses those loopholes better to building a football team than Howie Roseman and the Eagles? Name me another team. That is incredible. You know, they went after you with the I think what the Eagles have done, the Eagles have said this, fuck you, we're doing it our way until you change the rules. Because they have. They give the signing bonus. How many times when you hear the word restructure, is there a signing bonus involved? How much money in signing bonuses do you think the Eagles have given out in the last 4 years? I mean, it has to be number one. Goodell's like a 2-year throwing a fit because he doesn't get his way. He is. The NFL doesn't like the way, hey, get this, the tush push was just an aggravation thing. They want that general manager not to have the loopholes that he's found in the salary cap and the manipulating of it. Dude, I'll say it again to you, man. There is no doubt. Okay, wait. We don't want you to give significant signing bonuses. Well, that's what the Eagles do. And on top of that, I mean, a judge said, those were the judge's words. There is little question that the NFL Management Council and the commissioner is encouraging all the owners not to give veteran guarantees to players. Okay, a judge ruled that. That's why they lost this collusion case. This is bigger than you think. The NFLPA and the NFL have been quiet on this. I mean, they're fighting you. They don't like how you are running laps around. And you know what really is probably the most aggravating thing to the other general managers? You're hitting in the draft. It's one thing to get the contracts right. It's another thing that you're hitting in the draft. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, look, you take those void years and you stop giving these significant signing bonuses. For the record, I hear Xander and John talking about this all the time. Eventually, they're going to stop this escalation in salaries. You know what the NFL owners haven't counted on? The growth of TV and now streaming. Because the growth, get this, think about what's happened. Look at the salaries. We're talking about Reed Blankenship maybe getting $10 million, right? Reed's a good player. He's not exceptional. You're going to play good players exceptional money? You know, I started thinking about what we said yesterday about Blankenship. That guy's not a 15. Well, no shit, but you know what? When you look down the list, there's guys making 10 that he might be as good as. You're going to start paying good players exceptional money. And the owners don't want to do that. Get this. This is what we're missing here. It's not just that the salary cap is going up every year. Guess what else is going up? The revenue. The revenue is superseding what the owners thought was going to happen with salaries going up. It's escalating. Hey, let's do this. How many years ago did Jalen Hurts sign that $250 million contract? How many years ago? Was it 2? Was it 2 off seasons ago that Jalen Hurts signed that $250 million contract? He's already the 12th highest paid guy at that position. 2 years ago. He's now 12th. Do you think that's exceptional growth for a salary? You're paying Trevor Lawrence, who hasn't won shit, $55 million. You know, you and me will go, that's absurd. You're paying good players exceptional money. It's not because those players deserve it. It's because what the salaries are going up and the revenues are going up. Remember something. The players' salaries are not dictated by the cap. They're dictated by TV. Do you feel me? Reed Blankenship his salary is gauged not by the salary cap. You have to manage the cap, but his salary is based off of television. And that's where the flaw with the owners is. They're like this. Shit, our revenues are growing at a crazy rate. But because of that 49-51 split we made with the CBA a couple of years ago, they never counted on the revenue of television and the amount of ratings and the amount of TV and the streaming. They never counted that gambling would also be a part of that 51-49 split. So Reed Blankenship getting $10 million? Hey, man, you know, it's what the salaries are dictating now. I mean, the NFL wants to curb this. So they want to cut down those salaries by cutting out the guarantees and the voids. They're coming after the Eagles. But don't you think Howe would be smart enough to give them $8 million so they can keep the money up there to pay the other guys on the defense? Yeah, but why should Reed take that money when he can get 10 on the open market? Now, if I'm Reed, I think I stay for $8 million in Philadelphia over a 3-year contract. I mean, 8 over 3 or 8, like that. Escalators in there. Sure, I'm staying for that because my chances of going somewhere else, he's not a $10 million guy somewhere else. You put Reed Blankenship on the Tennessee Titans, that guy will be out of football and in the UFL in 2 years. You keep him in Philly, he's going to be a central piece to your defense because he's a perfect piece for what you guys do. Not everybody fits. Look at Bryce Huff. It's a great example. Bryce Huff stunk here. He might fit in San Francisco. He might fit in. Dude, I find it crazy that they're coming after you like that. We're also going to I'm going to give you a scouting report on Moro Ojomo and Kelee Ringo from another team. I won't name the team. I've got a scouting report on Moro Ojomo. We'll see if you agree or disagree. We're going to take a look at that. Oh, yes, I have to bring this up. So Todd Bowles and Jason Light got contract extensions today. Jason Light's contract was not told to me, but Todd Bowles was. He's making more than Nick. He's making $15.5 million. Liam Cohn with the Jags just got 12. Nick's at 15. They just gave Todd Bowles $15.5 million. Okay? Well, it's the best era of football in Bucs history. They've won 51 games in the last 5 years. They've won 5 division titles, an NFC championship, and they've won a Super Bowl. And he was part of that with Bruce Arians. Rightfully so. I mean, over the last 3 years, can you name me a more successful team then the Eagles, the Chiefs, then the Bucks. In the last 5 years, name me another team outside of Eagles and Chiefs that have been more successful than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, right? 5 division titles, NFC championship, right? Super Bowl win. Rams haven't won a Super Bowl in the last 5 years. Ravens haven't won a Super Bowl in the last 5 years. Nor 5 division titles in a row. I think it's only the Eagles and the Chiefs. Right? 5 straight division titles. Rams have not won a Super Bowl in 5 straight division titles. It's not true. And have had success against Philly. 15 over 3 years. I don't know what Jason Light's number is. I don't know what he got. General managers' contracts are, I don't know why, but the contracts are just different. Okay? Actually, this is wrong. They needed Bruce Arians to turn the Buccaneers around. Bucks needed Brady to do any of that. That's not true. Bruce Arians showed up first, and then Bruce Arians hired the coaching staff that brought Bowles and Brady and Baker Mayfield to Tampa. Not true. Okay? Well, Reyes is right here. Arians and Brady set the table because then Mayfield came in, but the coaching staff that they brought in with Larry Foote and with who am I missing? Charlie Strong. Those guys were all brought in by Bruce Arians. The Rams have not won a Super Bowl in the last 5 years. Okay? They have not won in the last 5. Have they? Maybe they did win in the last 5 years. Rams, Bucks. Bucks probably beat them, though, because of 4 straight division titles. Get this, though. Here's this comment. Bucks division is a bunch of, well, I don't hear anybody complaining about when Brady was playing in the AFC East. Okay? Thanks, M. Reyes. Tom Brady played in the shittiest division in football forever. Is that right? Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. So the Rams did. Last 5 years, they've won. That's right. It was Bucks and then Rams. Then it was Bucks. It was Bucks, Rams, Chiefs. You're right. Okay? Look, like I said, stop with this Tampa BS. They haven't won anything. They won a Super Bowl. Heck, and you talk about them beating the Eagles. How about all the losses? I'm not telling you that they're better than the Eagles. Angelo, I fucking just said it, you dumbass. That name me another organization that is better than Philly and Kansas City than what the Tampa Bay Bucks have done. Are you fucking dense? I never said they were better. Stupid. Get shit out of your ear. That's it. They're good. Are they the Eagles? No. No, they're not. Are they KC? No, they're not. Okay? Well, dude, the Niners have to win. They've got to win the big one. Okay? I wouldn't say they own, well, in the reg, again, they're not better than Philly. They're not. They're not a better organization than Philly. I'm going to tell you the best organizations right now in football. Okay? You're the king. Philly is right there. Kansas City's number 1. How many use an M. Reyes? Until you do what they've done, they're still the king. They've been to 3 straight Super Bowls. They've been 4 in 5 years and won 3. I don't know. Eagles are second. Rams or Bucks? What do you think? Rams or Bucks? At number 3. Who would you put? Rams or Bucks? At number 3. KC, Philly, Rams. Okay. I don't have a problem with that. Bucks 4. Who would be the 5th? San Francisco? I got KC, Eagles, Rams, Bucks. Who would be that 5th team? The Lions? The Lions. Lions haven't been to a Super Bowl. San Francisco has. The Ravens? San Francisco's 5. I'm going to put San Francisco 5 because they've been to 2 Super Bowls in 5 years. So I'm going to go Kansas City, Philadelphia, the Rams, the Bucks, and San Francisco. Those are the 5 best. Those are the 5 best football teams and organizations over the last 5 years. Those are the best. Those 5. Houston ain't one shit, dude. They're getting better, and I believe they're one of the up-and-coming teams. Okay? But those top 2 teams, Eagles and Chiefs, it's like those 2 teams, and then there's a drop-off. I think the Rams do a super job. The Bucks have done a better job than what I've thought after now following them a little more. And San Francisco's right in that room, too. Dude, the Commanders have 1 year. Now, I got to tell you this, and somebody asked me a question in Tampa this morning, and I'm going to tell you what I told them. And you know what? I don't know. Maybe I'm starting to feel a little better about this. But somebody asked me, do I think that the Eagles could break the hex in the NFC? What's the hex in the NFC in the last 21 years? Do you know what it is? What's the hex? When's the last time a team won the NFC 2 years in a row? There you go, Jalen. Not back-to-back division titles. Back-to-back NFC championships. Repeating as division champs. Not division champs, conference champs. It's been 21 years in the NFC since a team has gone back-to-back in NFC championships. And I was asked, I'll tell you, if everything goes right and everything plays in and guys step in, they're in the room. Of course they're in the room. Okay? That they're in the room. DJ, I just read an article that Henry Ruggs is training while in prison to get back into the league. Do you think the Eagles would sign him, given our history, earliest release for him is August of 2026? I'd give him a total opportunity. I said it before to you. Either you believe in rehabilitation or you don't. Seahawks win the NFC championship in 14 and 15. Thanks, M. Reyes. That's the last time that someone's won the conference championship. That's a long time ago. Okay? So that's right. That's the back-to-backs with Russell Wilson. 13 and 14, oh, it's okay. Nobody's held to us. 13 and 14, all good. All good, brother. All good. I mean, the Eagles have a shot to do this. And 21 years since they won the division in the NFC East. They got a chance to do all this year. Hit the like button, guys. Scoopers go to the top. I'm going to give you guys some scouting. By the way, I mean, Nick Sirianni making $15.5, $15 million, who cares? He's in the top 10. Okay? And the Eagles are not going to pay ever anybody the highest salary in the league when you have Howie Roseman in the building the team. Nick doesn't have the same responsibilities. But that's okay. It's not a rip. Nobody's ripping him here on this when it comes to money. Sirianni doesn't have the same responsibilities as Andy Reid. He doesn't have the same responsibilities. That doesn't mean he's not important as a John Harbaugh or a Mike Tomlin or Jim Harbaugh. There's just different responsibilities. There's two dudes in Philly. There's one guy in those other places. Andy Reid is really being paid. Like, get this. There's no way in hell Brett Veach is making the money that Howie Roseman is. There's no way, as long as Andy's in the building. There's no way. And as long as Howie's in the building in Philly, there's no way you're going to see Nick make high-end money. And I mean high-end money, the $19, $20, $25 million. You're not. That doesn't make, it's just different roles. You're getting paid on what you do in your role. He's got completely different job description as Andy Reid and Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh or Jim Harbaugh or even Sean Payton have. They're completely different job descriptions. He's more of a, I'm not saying rah-rah, he's more of an organizer. He's more like he's like an area manager where you have a bunch of people working for you and you've got to make it all work and be productive together. He's not the CEO. The CEO's Howie. And he's kind of like a manager of all of his coaches, making sure the players are on time. By the way, that's a skill set. On time, practicing hard, scheduling for practices, making sure you guys are where you need to be, holding coaches accountable. That's a skill set. Okay? That's a skill set. That's right. They're administrative skills. Like, the coolest thing about Nick's job, Nick doesn't have to worry about personnel. Howie calls him up and says, I think we need some help at wideout. So he goes and gets AJ. Okay. Nick's not targeting that guy. Howie is. Again, just different ways of doing business. And it's a successful way. He's more of a Vermeil with the Rams. Yeah, because Mike Martz was the offensive play caller. That's right, Kyle. I mean, when Vermeil became a better coach in St. Louis, and the reason he was a better coach in St. Louis was because he was a better delegator than he was in Philly. J-Mac had a good point on this. Shanahan is an elite play caller, but it's cost him in time management and leadership being distracted calling plays. Yeah, that's a correct take. It did. Hey, JD3, wouldn't you say that also played a factor in Andy Reid when he was in Philly? Don't you think that also, when you're so immersed in your play calling, you lose time of where you are in the game? Right? You lose time of where you are in the game. You look up before you know it, you've burned a timeout, or you have to call the timeout in time. And you blow time of possession and field position with 2-minute drills going into the half and also at the end of ball games. I think that's what kills Shanahan. And you know what else I think happens? I think Shanahan nuts up. I think he's really, with 2 minutes in the game, here's what happened. You guys tell me if you think this is what really hurts Kyle Shanahan. I think Kyle Shanahan is great for 56 minutes. He is great with 56 minutes in a game. Great play calling. He puts guys in great position. But those 4 minutes, halftime 2, end 2, what happens? The game gets condensed. And you have to make critical decisions quicker. Can I give you a comparison? Don't you guys think when you watch a team that's in a red zone and you're watching red zone offense, how many times do you see teams shit the bed because they're in red zone offense? Why? Because you got a 12th defender, the back of the end zone. A lot of coaches, that screws with their head. The field's condensed. The play area's condensed. You got sidelines and back of the end zone. That's what happens with when you're down in the red zone. A lot of coaches nut up down there. They do. They nut up when they get down there. And I think that's what happens to Kyle Shanahan is a great designer of plays. He's a great play caller. But I think he's poor in 2-minute drill. He has not gotten better as a head football coach in 2-minute drill. Okay? Now look, see Niner all day? 5-time Super Bowl champ. It's true. But what did they have differently when you had Bill Walsh as your head coach? Bill Walsh was spectacular at play calling and being patient. Bill Walsh is the greatest play calling head football coach that's ever lived. That's ever lived. Nobody design everything you see, even in Philly, anywhere. The West Coast offense was something that was created by him and a guy named Sid Gilliam. And you had a guy by the name of Don Coryell. Those three dudes really were the architects of the West Coast offense and how you see the game played today. And Bill was sensational at helping his quarterback. Do you know what he did with 2-minute drill? He told me it was up to the quarterback on 2-minute drill. And don't forget, too, Yale, Bill Walsh worked for Paul Brown when he was in Cincinnati as the play caller. So he was around Sid Gilliam. He was around Paul Brown. And him and Don Coryell did a lot of stuff together when it came to developing of the West Coast offense. It takes a great mind to be able to, and he's gotten better. Why? Well, he's got Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is spectacular when it comes to 2-minute drill. Hey, what about the Patriots? I think Josh McDaniels, it was more about Brady in 2-minute. It wasn't Belichick in 2-minute. It was Brady in 2-minute. Dude, Brady is the greatest quarterback and thinker, and I give Hurts a ton of credit for being in this conversation. When you have to be so smart to win games in the NFL. I don't know about talent. Okay? I don't know about talent. But I do know that those guys, there's certain things about certain guys, they're just calm under pressure. Montana, I told you the story. Joe Montana's in a Super Bowl. There's 1:28 left in the game. His team is down. It's the Super Bowl. He looks over at his guys and goes, "Hey, guys, look. There's John Candy on the sidelines." His teammates went like this. There's 1:20 left. We've got to go 80 yards because they got a illegal procedure penalty. And he goes like this. There's John Candy. Look at him. Team looked, Harris Spartan, Randy Cross. They all look over. They look at Joe. Joe, it's the Super Bowl. Joe's like this. I got this. I got this. I got this. Not Bill Walsh. I got this. I got this. Because what are you worried about? They had to go 80 yards in a minute 20 with no timeouts to win their fourth Super Bowl. I got this. We're not going to be denied. Joe marched that team right down the field. Hits John Taylor in the back of the end zone. Third Super Bowl completed. Comeback victory against the Bengals. I mean, he would go on to win one more and annihilate John Elway in the Super Bowl, I believe, the following year. It put 55 on him. This guy's telling his teammates, I got this. Tremendous. I'll tell you what, Joe Montana and Tom Brady in a ball game, that would be a wet dream. To watch those two guys play against one another. That'd be insane. Says they developed the West Coast for a quarterback named Virgil Carter, who didn't have the arm strength that Greg Cook had. That Greg Cook was a former player with Cincinnati, who unfortunately had a very short career with the Bengals. But he was going to go on to be a really great. And unfortunately, Paul Brown didn't like all that much Bill Walsh because he thought that he overthought things. But thank God for Mr. DeBartolo being right-minded and hiring. Paul Brown used to go around when the Chargers, the Packers, and the Rams wanted to hire Bill Walsh. He was going around behind his back saying, don't hire him. Okay? All right. Hit the like button. Guys, let's get those likes up. I appreciate you. Xander's going to join us at 3:30. Jason Cole will join us at 4:30. So I'm going to give you a scouting report from another football team. I can't tell you what football team because I'm not supposed to tell you. The general manager gave me this scouting report. I'm going to start going down the line here with some of the players. And I've picked Moro Ojomo and Kelee Ringo. Okay? And I got this from a personnel person. I think some of you are in the room here already. And some of you already know who possibly gave me this. So some of you are right. Okay? Who do you want to hear first? Kelee Ringo or Moro Ojomo? This is not my take. I'll tell you if I agree. But this is a scouting report. Every football team, just so you know, every football team in the league has a scouting report on every player that's on a roster right now. Do you know that? Every single personnel department has strengths and weaknesses on every player that's going to camp here in July. You know, July 1, you have to have everything set. Heading into training camp in your 90 has to be set. Okay? Right? Okay. So let's do, I see Kelee Ringo. Here's Kelee Ringo. Here's the email I got. I want to make sure when I read this that I don't say the team. Hold on here. Okay. Here's Kelee Ringo. Here's the scouting report. This is, again, from an NFL football team. One of you guys in the chat room got it right already on where I got this. And I'm not going to tell who and who said it, but I want to double check here. Okay. Want to make sure I don't say the name. All right. Kelee Ringo is a young athletic cornerback with high ceiling for some technical inconsistencies. He possesses excellent size and speed and is a physical player, particularly at the line of scrimmage. However, he can struggle with quicker receivers, particularly in man coverage, and needs to improve in overall technique and consistency. I think that comes with reps. He has the potential to be a starting cornerback, especially in a zone-heavy scheme, but may require time to develop his skills. Again, there's a lot more here to this. Okay, does that sound about right with him? So I'm going to read it again here. Again, I just got to make sure. Kelee Ringo is a young, athletic cornerback with a high ceiling, but some technical inconsistencies. He possesses excellent size and speed and is a physical player, particularly at the line of scrimmage. However, he can struggle with quicker receivers, particularly in man coverage. Now, again, like I said just a minute ago, I think that has to come with reps and needs to improve his overall technique. Another thing with reps and consistency, he has the potential to be a starting cornerback, okay? This is another team talking about Kelee Ringo. So they're saying that he has the potential to be a starter, okay? Here's his strengths: size and speed. Ringo has ideal cornerback build and good size, an impressive 4.36 40. I didn't know he was that fast. Okay, I didn't. Physically, he's a physical player at the line of scrimmage, able to jam receivers and disrupt routes. Now, again, they said he struggles with the quicker guys. Ball skills. Ringo has good football skills and can make plays on the ball when in phase. Zone coverage. He shows good instinct and vision in zone coverage. Well, that's the majority of what he's going to be doing for Vic, is playing in zone coverage. Potential with development. Listen to what this said. This is another football team, and I appreciate this team. I know you're watching. I'm not saying anything. And I know the guy's watching. He's in here. I see him. He's in a senior executive with a team. Potential with development. He has the potential to be a high-level starting corner. Okay? That's a better take than I had on him. Now, here's his weakness. Technique. Ringo's coverage technique needs improvement, particularly his footwork and ability to stay in phase with receivers. Stay on the path. Okay? And stay on the route is what he's talking about. Let's see here. Quickness. He could struggle with quicker and more agile receivers, especially in man coverage. Consistency. Ringo's play can be inconsistent with lapses in technique and decision-making. Now, I would say this. Well, shit, if you're not getting a lot of reps, that's going to improve just with you being on the football field, right? I mean, that's going to improve with more play. Processing. He can be slow to process routes and react to changes in direction, which can lead to separation of receivers. Receivers that runs a really, like an Adam Thielen would torture him. Maybe early in the season. Somebody that runs precise routes like that, okay? Again, that would be something to keep an eye on early in the season. Processing. He can be slow to process routes and react to changes in direction, which can, like great route runners are going to give him problems early. I'm not saying he won't develop and fix this. Handsy. At times he can be grabby and relies on holding when out of position. Well, Darius Slay does that. I mean, anytime Slay gets beat, remember last year what happened? When Slay got beat, he would grab. I don't mind that. I'd rather give up a 15-yard pass interference play than 7. You know what I'm saying? Overall, Kelee Ringo is a prospect with significant upside due to his physical tools and potential for growth. However, he needs to refine his technique and improve his consistency to reach his full potential. His best fit may be in a scheme that utilizes his strengths, particularly his size, speed, and physicality, while minimizing his weaknesses. This sounds like a Vic Fangio guy. Sounds like Vic wrote that. Another team wrote it. Again, strengths, size and speed, 4.36. I didn't know he was that fast. Physicality. He's a physical player at the line and can jam receivers to disrupt routes. Ball skills, has great ball skills and can make plays on the ball when in phase, when he's on the route. Zone coverage. This is Vic. He shows good instincts and vision in zone coverage. The weakness stuff, it sounds to me like the weakness stuff that he has, it sounds to me like it's just a rep thing. You know? Inconsistency, quickness, technique, processing, handsy. That sounds to me like a football player that just needs reps. So I see why they like him. Because I think his weaknesses are just not being on the field. Now, look, here's the problem when you're in Philly. Shit, you're not going to get on the field. You got a lot of good football players that you got to beat out. And the problem that he's facing is that at the end of this year, the Eagles got to decide whether or not to pick an option up on him. Not an option, but to extend him. I mean, he's been sitting on the bench the entire time. He's a good. I think also why Vic likes him and Christian Parker like him, I think it's because he's good in special teams. So that's a pretty good review. Let's do Moro Ojomo. I haven't read these, by the way. I have not. This is the first time I'm reading them. I got these from my friend who works as the number 2 guy in an organization. And, you know, anytime I need to know about a player, I go to him. All right. So here's Moro Ojomo. John likes him. I liked him a year ago. I've actually liked him for 2 years. Now, he's not Milton Williams. Okay? He's not. Moro Ojomo is a defensive lineman and a DT, an end. He's got strong hands, high motor, ability to shed blocks, particularly in the run game. He's a powerful player with good initial burst off the snap, but he can struggle with lateral movement and bending on the edge. He's not Milton Williams. While he plays with good leverage and balance, he may need to add more mass to handle double teams effectively at the NFL level. That's not a bad, those aren't bad comments. Those are young player comments. Playing with leverage, setting the edge, all of that. The one thing that I will tell you that Milton Williams and Josh Sweat did last year that was exceptional was setting the edge. When you're 285 pounds and you're playing against 350-pound guys like Jordan Mailata, you better have a bunch of bricks in your pocket, or you better know how to play with leverage, or you're going to get blown off the football. Okay? You're going to get blown off the ball. Strengths. Ojomo plays with a relentless effort, fighting through blocks and pursuing to the ball carrier. That means he's got a great motor. Strong hands and shedding ability. He effectively uses his hands to disparage from blockers, both as a pass rusher and in the run game. Look, I'll tell you what, the things you could do with guys with great hands, and if you're a defensive lineman, having great hands, that's what made Aaron Donald a special player. The thing that made Aaron Donald special was that Aaron Donald had great feet and great hands. He's got great hand strength. Good leverage and balance. He plays with good leverage and balance, rarely on the ground. You know, I hadn't thought about that until I read this team's report on him. Moro Ojomo is never on the ground unless he's making a tackle. I see Jordan Davis on the ground a lot. I don't see him on the ground. Plays with good leverage and balance and rarely ends up on the ground. That means he doesn't fall down. Initial burst. Ojomo has a quick first step that allows him to generate power and disrupt offensive linemen. Okay? Run defense. I didn't think. Now, this team thinks he's a better run defender than I do. So I'm going to take their word for it. He shows potential to be an effective run defender with the ability to stack and shed blocks. Okay. I mean, these people watch hours of film on these guys. So when you get a report from a team on a player on another team, these are gold. I can't tell you, man. Getting a report like this. Now, here's his weaknesses. Lateral agility. Ojomo can struggle with lateral movement, making it difficult to pursue the plays to the sidelines to get off the blocks. My friend who's in here, I don't know if I agree with that. I've seen him get down the line of scrimmage pretty good. And I've talked to Clint Hurd about that. I don't know about that one. Bend and flexibility, I do agree with this. He lacks the flexibility and bend to be a consistent pass rusher off the edge. That is no doubt. And I heard Xander and John McMullen talking about Ty Robinson. I'm going to explain problems with Ty here in a minute because they said something that's interesting about Ty Robinson's ability. And it always seems to be something with those Nebraska guys. I don't know what it is with those Nebraska guys, but those Nebraska guys, I'll get to that in a minute here. I want to finish at Jomo. Pass rush moves. While he has a variety of moves, he isn't overly refined in his pass rush technique. That's a fact. And he can get better with that. I think he gets better with that with more reps. Processing. He can occasionally hesitate when processing misdirection and potential leading to lost plays. You know what that means? Counter trays and misdirection blocks. You know, a guard will go this way, and a lot of influence blocks, which means this. He'll hesitate on the influence and knowing that the play's coming backside. And instead of reading technique, he'll get knocked off the football because he didn't read the splits, he didn't read the shade, and he didn't read the technique that he needed to play. When an offensive guard goes away, okay, and you see a big split, when a guard goes away, first thing you're taught is look back inside because they're influence blocking you. And that means that center's trying to wall you off here, and they're trying to run you up the middle with the guard sweeping and scooping. And the back will run right up the middle, up the middle. So as soon as the guard goes away with big splits, tight splits, you're thinking they're trying to get outside on you. Okay? So, but I think, again, that comes with playing with reps. And I think that comes with experience. So, in closing with Ojomo, I mean, again, we're talking about two football players here, Kelee Ringo, and I'm going to do more tomorrow. I'll do Jelix Hunt, and I'll do Nolan Smith. Lateral agility. That's your skill set. I think he struggles at that. But I think that comes with more reps. And I think I don't think he's as bad as this report says. His bend and his flexibility. I do agree with this. I mean, to be a consistent pass rusher, you've got to have great hip movement. And I don't think he does. I think he's kind of upright a little bit. Functional strength, while powerful, he needs to add, he's 285. By the end of the year, he'll be 275. That's not going to cut it. This guy can get knocked off the ball and be destroyed. Remember, as the season goes on, you're going to lose weight. Now, the Eagles do a great job with this one. You know why? The Eagles do a great job because as the season goes on, they limit their practices. And he'll be able to keep his weight on. So all in all, I mean, I don't believe these are bad at all. You know what it comes out for me? This comes down for me that, again, just like Kelee Ringo, these are dudes that you don't know. You got to play 800 reps to take over. Now, he played a ton of reps actually, he may have played more reps than Milton. He played because he was a nickel a lot. But he's going to have to play the run. Does he have the size to play the run? I think that's one of the reasons that you drafted Ty Robinson. So I heard Xander and John talking about Ty Robinson, that when you put the game film on with him, you don't see it. He's right. Okay? He's right. You don't see a ton of production. You don't. Now, again, in Philly, how much does production matter? Milton Williams is a 5-sack guy, 50 tackle guy. Okay? Josh Sweat, same thing. How much does that matter? Putting up big numbers. Here's one thing I'll give you, and that's a trait with those Nebraska guys. It's been my whole life. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a guy by the name of Danny Noonan who was a first-round draft choice by the Dallas Cowboys out of Nebraska. This guy ran a 4.5, 4.6 at 278 pounds. He bench pressed 500 pounds. This guy looked like a Greek god, took his shirt off. I mean, he was built like this guy belonged in the Mr. Olympia. He was just yoked. 40-yard dash, massive when it came to the metrics of the vertical jump. Shuttle drill off the charts. Go back and look how this guy was one of the greatest athletes I had ever seen at 6'3.5", 280 pounds, ran a 4.5, 4.6, 505 bench presser, and he was built like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You got him on a football field, he was not productive at all. Wait a minute, Sells. He had a great 40. He looked like Zeus. He measured well. Well, sometimes that shit don't translate. Dude, you put Danny Noonan or Jordan Davis. I heard him saying this. I told you this from day one. How many of you remember me saying this? His athleticism. Get this, guys. I think people forget what I say sometimes because I've been saying this fucking shit since he's been in Philly. His skill set has never matched up to the production. Since I've been on the air here, that has been my number one thing on Jordan Davis. I was saying this 3 years ago. I said it when you drafted him. His production at Georgia was horseshit. 4 years, 9 sacks. 50-some tackles in 4 years. That's not productive. Jordan Davis is not a productive player. He will never be. He will have flashes of it. And it's a prime example of a super athlete not being a super football player. Dude, if you put Jerome Brown next to Jordan Davis or that Danny Noonan guy I just mentioned, you would laugh. Jerome was fat. He couldn't bench press to save his life. He ran a 4.8, but he had great hips, and that motherfucker could play. I mean, Jordan Davis has all the things that the combines love and everything, or some things, majority of the things that every defensive line coach hates. Not being productive, not being around the ball. That's a red flag on Ty Robinson for me. Because John's right. When you put the game film on with him, I don't see it. You know that guy that the Bengals signed? That Stewart kid? I don't see it. You've got to be a playmaking dude for me to believe you. Like, do you make plays? Do you make plays? Okay? Wait, Ty Robinson showing good side? No. My friend, I think Ty Robinson's going to be a good football player. I do. Because in the system that he's going to play in Philly, he's going to be what do you think Ty Robinson's number one fucking job's going to be? What do you think it's going to be in Philly? By the way, and the number one job that Milton and Josh did last year was what? You're either productive or you're a track star. Correct. What were the two biggest jobs? Okay? Two biggest jobs that Josh Sweat and Milton Williams did a year ago. And it wasn't pass rushing. I'll help you out. What was the two biggest gigs? Defending the run, setting the edge. Plain and simple. Okay? What happens when you set the edge? You shorten the field for the offense in the run game. When you can't set the edge, you widen the field. And that means your players have to make tackles in space. More so than ever. When your ends are getting annihilated like that, think about it. Here's your ends. You keep them in this, and you keep that run game inside that box. What do you think the chances of running a football down the Eagles' throat is when you keep them inside the box like that? What do you think the chances of you winning? What do you think the chances of winning when you're collapsing them down and you got the entire field and basically up the middle to run the football? You can't win. That's the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys with Micah Parsons and whomever, they get collapsed and they get run all over. The Eagles last year, they kept everyone in this box. Allowed the linebackers to pursue, and you kept everything inside that box. The run lanes, look how small they are. Look how wide they are when you don't have ends that can set the edge. The field's wide open. You're going to have gaping yardage plays on you. Okay? Gaping. You keep look, this year, you're going to, Jalen Hunt, Nolan Smith, and Moro Ojomo, those three guys, they have to do the job that those dudes did last year by keeping everything in the middle in here so that the run lanes stay inside my hands. Because if you don't, what happened when they had Bryce Huff in there? You know how many times Andrew used to come on the air first couple weeks of the season? This guy's a liability. He's caving it down. Look at what you do when you cave one side down, too. When you cave one side down, you're running that guy into pursuit. It stops pursuit and creates also run lanes. Both of those guys a year ago, Milton and Josh, were sensational at doing exactly what I just said. This right here, and then do this. Combine that with the 8th best rushing defense against. How are you losing? How are you losing? You have nowhere to run. How many teams last year had a 100-yard rusher on you guys? Do you remember anybody with 100 yards on you? How many players had 100 yards rushing on the Eagle defense a year ago? How many? I mean, I don't remember the number. How many teams ran for, like, one player running for 100 yards on you? I don't remember. Yeah, but wasn't this mostly in, like, after the Eagles had murdered them? Like in the second game? And they had already beat the doorknobs off him, and it was kind of junk yardage. So the guy, after you guys had annihilated the Cowboys, that Rico Suarez kid had 100 yards on you. I don't remember anybody getting 100 yards that mattered on you. One or two guys? It's because of what I just said. Hey, did Milton Williams and Josh Sweat have insane numbers? No. No, they did not. But you know what they did have? They made sure the structure of that defense was so sound. Look at what you did. You got a nose in the middle. You got your two ends setting it up. And you got a linebacker that's playing all pro level. Where the fuck are you running? That was a perfect world. The nose played well. The two tackles inside played well. The ends kept containment. And the linebacker scraped. And, dude, Nakobe Dean benefited more than even Zach Bond a year ago. Why? The edges were set. Nobody's getting blown off the ball. And you had an athlete who's often injured not getting touched. Let me say this to you about Nakobe. Nakobe didn't get touched as much as Saquon Barkley didn't get touched with the old line. The defensive line of the Eagles had as good a year as the offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles did. Do you agree? How many people agree that unit, that front seven, had as good a year as, if not better, than the Eagle O-line? Why? They were number one. They were the number one ranked defense. That front seven, look, I don't know if they were more talented than Gang Green, but I'll tell you what, they were more effective. They were more effective. I mean, and I think that Eagle O-line is spectacular. But they were spectacular. It's very interesting because we're training camp. I mean, I told you the Chargers are showing up the 16th of July here. Okay. Well, know this. All the stupid prognosis, all that shit's done with now. Now it's, do you have the people to do this? Man, that was a perfect storm last year. And to sit there and think that you're going to have players play to that technically sound scheme defense. Hey, Vic can tell you where to line up, but you have to be productive. Let me show you this. Vic Fangio and Clint Hurt have put Jordan Davis in the best position for him to succeed. You know what that is? Playing first and second down and nothing else. That's his ceiling. That's who he is. He's not going to get better. Jordan Davis will never get better. That's who he is. Now, he can get better at the skill set they're asking him to do. He can be a better first and second down player. Absolutely. Can the guys around him help him get more opportunities for sacks? Absolutely. For Jordan Davis's health and for his longevity as an Eagle, Jalen Hunt, Nolan Smith, and some of those other dudes that you signed, they have to play great. They have to. Dude, you give up 17 points a game. I mean, you should win every college football, high school football game, let alone an NFL game. Sills, which week do you think we could see Campbell on the field? That's a tough one, man. You know, one thing, that I don't dig with the Eagles, because the Eagles don't respect their local people who cover the team. We're going to find that out probably from a national guy, not a local guy. They tell you know what they tell the local guys? Nothing. They do, but that's an NFL thing. You know who found out that Todd Bowles today and Jason Light got a contract extension? The national guys, not the local guys. I don't know what it is with the NFL. They don't tell the local guys shit. So I don't know. I'm going to assume week 6. I mean, and then what will he look like? I'm not making a prediction. I told you guys, you know what's funny? I remember doing this conversation. I think it was with Xander. I said this about Jahad Campbell prior to the draft. I go, how is this guy not a Vic Fangio guy? And then everybody told me, well, we don't draft linebackers. So I went, all right. I did a show. I went, how are you not liking this guy? You could brush him at edge. You could play him off ball. You can move him around in zone. How, is this guy not a perfect? Do you guys remember me saying, I said, how is this guy not a Vic Fangio guy? Turns out he was and is a Vic Fangio guy. But I got talked into it because now again, they have changed a lot of things they do. The Eagles haven't drafted a linebacker since like 79 or whatever it was. So I get it. They're not wrong. But when you watch that guy, you're like, that guy's a Fangio guy. I remember totally saying that. I mean, so when you see Ty, it's true. Ty Robinson is another kind of like Jordan Davis kind of guy. But Jordan Davis has all the measurables to be like, you look, what's this? 4'7", 340, 6'5", 338 pounds, whatever the hell he is, 340, 328. I don't know. Yeah, how are you not all pro? How are you not all pro? By the way, let me ask you guys something. How long did it take you to figure out Jalen Carter was great? How many games did it take you to figure out that Jalen Carter was a great prospect? How many games do you think? Before you went like this on Jalen Carter. You guy's a pretty good-looking ball player, man. Bud says 1 game. 4 games. 2 games. Okay? I don't know. 3? How many games did it take you to know that Jordan Davis? Maybe 4. Okay. How many years is it taking for you to say this to me about Jordan Davis? Well, he's going to have a breakout year. 3? There's the difference. I'm not saying certain guys don't develop later. You have to be patient with some and patient with others. I'm not saying not everybody's the same. So comparing players is hard sometimes. You know, there's dudes that come in there and Carter goes, you go like this, that guy's a player. Okay. Jordan Davis, you're like, well, I mean, this is year 3 now. Again, I'm being as fair today as I can with him. Okay. I'm not saying, by the way, I don't think the player sucks. He doesn't. That's not Mike Momola. Okay. Jordan Davis is not Mike Momola. I mean, he's not that dude. Okay. He's not. And the thing with the 13th pick, I'm just looking for you. Hey, now that you have signed an $11 million contract and you've got like your 5th year picked up, dude, all bets are off. Let's fucking go. You're being paid high-end money now. That guy has not shown me. And again, that's a prime example right there of what they were talking about this morning. You know, you show up to these do you get this? Do you know how many times you'll do the shuttle drill after the combines? Do you know how many times you'll run a 40? Do you know how many times you'll do a vertical jump? Do you know how many times that you'll run a box drill? Never. The things you do at the combines, you will never do again. The NFL guys test you on what? They will test you on bench, and they test you on your conditioning. The NFL doesn't give a shit about your 40-yard dash anymore. You're in the league. They only give a shit if you're in shape. How long can you go? That's it. I was never tested in the 7 years I played pro ball ever on a 40-yard dash, ever after the first year, where I ran a 4.8 at 280. A 4.8 flat. Never tested again. Okay? You don't get tested like that. So what's the point? Dude, that's right. The stuff at the Senior Bowl, that's shit you'll never do again. Now, what you're talking, Pat, is the one-on-one pass drills and the one-on-one single blocks you're talking. That stuff there, where you're going against the top flight kids that are going to be drafted. Okay, that's what you're talking, Pat. You're right, because you get to see technique, playing against good competition, guys that are going to be your contemporaries going into the draft. That's correct. You're not talking about 40s and shit. You're talking about one-on-one pass drills, 7-on-7 stuff, and shit like that. Yeah, yes. And when they film that with the NFL, one thing the NFL Network does great, they film that stuff and they put that stuff on TV for fans to watch. That is something to keep an eye on. That is way more productive than the combines. Get this. You know what the combines do? The combines help people who don't make plays. If you don't make plays, get this. A guy who makes plays goes to the combines, like that Jack Sawyer guy. I think Jack Sawyer is going to be a ball player. You know why? He makes plays. Yeah, but Sills didn't really test well. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm gonna put more weight into a guy playing well than a guy who runs a fast 40. I can't tell you how many times I've seen lesser athletes, better players. And you know what? That's the prime example of a quarterback. Why doesn't that same metric work for defensive tackles? Some of the worst athletes in the planet were some of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And yet you draft the best athletes. And you know what you do? You get a guy like Justin Fields. Do you know what the worst thing somebody tells me? Somebody told me on Justin Fields, when Justin Fields went to the combines, did you see him run a 4.4? So what? So what? What does that mean? Nothing. I remember, somebody said something to me in here, and it was when he was at the combines. Fields just ran a 4.3 or 4.4. I'm like, the most meaningless thing. I heard John talking about sacks are meaningless. Well, unless you're getting paid. Let me ask you this. If sacks are meaningless, how much money do you think Trey Hendrickson's going to get in the open market for those 17 and a half sacks? How much money do you think? How much money? He said sacks are the most overrated thing. Really? How much money do you think Trey Hendrickson is going to get in the open market for those sacks? 30 million? 35? 25? Okay. How fucking meaningless are they now? 40 million? Meaningless? Well, unless you're getting paid. Right? John's like, those sacks is overrated. So TJ Watt's overrated? TJ Watt's a $40 million a year guy. What the fuck are you talking about? Sacks are overrated? Trey Hendrickson's going to get $35 million from some team because he had 17 and a half on a shitty defense. Meaningless. Ask TJ Watt why he's holding out. Why do you think he's holding out? Because he wants Myles Garrett money. Why? Because he's a sack guy. When somebody says sacks don't matter, okay, the highest paid guys in the league, Hassan Reddick had 1.5 sacks last year, but he's had 51 over the last 5. He just got $14.5 million from the Bucs. They don't mean anything? Okay. Unless you're getting paid. Says, I'm actually in favor of the transfer portal. I went to high school with the guy named Joel Caleb, who was buried at the depth chart at Virginia Tech. And he was number 1 recruit in Virginia. I love the transfer portal. Love it. You don't have to sit behind and you don't have to die on somebody's roster anymore. So Philly has already been burned with drafting the winner of the Underwear Olympics when they drafted Mike Mullen. The scores at the combines should validate the tape. Absolutely correct. The tape matters. Tape matters. You can tell when columnists and people who covered the sport talk to you guys versus somebody who played the game. I'll say it again to you. Production of a player, not a team, dictates where you are in the pay scale of the league. And on top of that, how a team builds a team. Howie Roseman builds a football team based around a salary cap and good players, right? Money and greatness and good athletes and good players, correct? Money and good players and some potential. It has everything to do with individual skill set. Do I think that player here, do I think I can live without Milton Williams? Do I think I can find another Milton Williams? The Eagles think they can. All right. They're on the clock for that. They're gambling that they could find another Josh Sweat. Okay. They believe they can. Remember, what's cool about those draft picks, they were a 3rd and 4th round draft choice. Those guys, if they were to be redrafted, would be 1st round picks. The thing that I don't like about that movement is that you develop them, you draft them, you play them, they excel for you, you dump them before they're 27. Now, let me back up here and say this. They got a formula that's winning. I have to take a knee to that. It's a formula that wins. Okay? It wins. So that's what they're looking at. What about if you believe your coaches can develop a player through? And listen, having great assistant coaches, I think you have one of the best coaching staffs on defense, maybe offense, with your O-line coach. I don't know so much about I don't know what Kevin Petula is going to do. I have no idea. And because these guys are butt buddies, that means nothing to me. That carries no weight. I don't care if Kevin Petula has been taking out the trash for 5 years and they're best friends with Nick and Jalen. That has no bearing on me when it comes to play calling. I do not care about that. I want to know what you're going to do with situational play calling and in-game play calling when it's your time to make those calls. Plain and simple. And you've never done it. I don't give a shit. It's like being a co-pilot in an airplane. When that day comes when you're the main pilot and there's nobody else to bail you out, you're the fucking guy. You're the guy. Okay? And I don't want Nick bailing me out. You're put in that position to excel or fail. Plain and simple. Well, I have no problem with a guy who's been in the building. Well, fuck, Brian Johnson was in the building for 3 years before he got the call to be the OC, and he bombed, according to them. I don't really think he did. I wonder what Brian Johnson would have did with another year. I wonder if that would have helped Hurts more in development. If you would have given him continuity. What's more important? Continuity for your quarterback? Or using scapegoats? Now, here's what the Eagles will fire back and say. Hey, fuck that. I fired the guy, hired the guy, we won a Super Bowl. Absolutely true. See, they got the answers with this one. Hey, we won a Super Bowl. They're right. And again, it's a different way of doing it, but it's been successful. It totally has been. And they have a conviction with how they look at players. Here. So they took a gamble on 2 guys, Ty Robinson and Jordan Davis, based off of combines, not their tape. And what else? Based off coaching they got at Nebraska and Georgia. Okay? Matt Rule had him at Nebraska. I think he was I think Scott, the former coach at Nebraska, I think he recruited him, former UCF coach. Then I think Matt Rule took over Nebraska. Okay, here's what I'll ask you about Nebraska. Outside of Neil Smith, name me a Nebraska guy. Neil Smith and Ndamukong Suh. Okay. Name me another player in the 50 years of Nebraska football that has been good in the defensive line. In 50 years from Nebraska, Neil Smith and Ndamukong Suh. On defense. Anyone? Sue and who's Willie Harper? $50 years. Shit, I'll go 60. It's not a place that develops a lot of D linemen. Now, they develop O linemen. Rich Glover was a 12th round draft choice who was a bomb. Great college player, but was nothing in the pros. Was a former Outland Lombardi winner. He's talking 1971. Now, I'm not saying Stroud broke. Hey, look at what Will Shields is offensive line. Defensive line. Defense. Defense. Nebraska don't produce D linemen. Now, I'll go back and make a comment that I was going to make here before I bring Xander up here. C.J. Stroud carried the day. Grant Lindstrom was a good ball player. Jay Brown, he was good. Broderick Thomas I thought he was a bust with the Bucs. Will Shields was a Hall of Fame offensive lineman. So, I mean, I thought Broderick Thomas was a bust. He was drafted by the Bucs. Okay? So, I heard those guys talking. Nebraska has always had these dudes. Fucking 40-yard dash, bench press out the ass. I mean, great athletes. Get them on a football field, they're no production at all. It's been a benchmark of that program. I don't know why. Oklahoma has produced a ton of great defensive linemen. I mean, from Leroy Selman to Gerald McCoy, Tony Casillas, there's been a shitload of them guys that have been productive there from OU. Some really great players. So, again, you could have the combine numbers. Jason Cole will join us. We'll do that at 4:30. So let me throw this at you. Before we bring my boy Xander, I believe the Eagles are being targeted by the NFL. This new collective bargaining agreement that they signed a couple of years ago, now all of a sudden they lose a collusion case. Now they want to make sure that, get this, like I said, I'm going to bring Xander up right after this comment here. Imagine this. The commissioner of the league went around telling NFL owners and general managers, here, there is little question. This is the judge's comments. There is little question that NFL Management Council, with the blessing of the commissioner of the National Football League, encouraged the 32 NFL clubs to reduce guarantees in veterans' contracts at the March 22 annual owners' meetings. Do you know what just happened in court 2 days ago? The league lost that collusion case. So 3 weeks ago, the commissioner came out, wants to take the void years away. Now they want teams to temper on the signing bonus. Who has paid more signing bonus money out than the Philadelphia Eagles over the last 5 years? Give me one team. Give me one team. I didn't believe in eagle targeting. Well, I sure do now. All that being said, guys that are killing it. Love the content on the program, too. It really is. John and him doing a great job. 16 days out from the Chargers, believe it or not, starting up their training camp. That's just a couple weeks away because they got to get ready for the Hall of Fame game there in Canton, Ohio against the Detroit Lions. Without further ado, my boy, Big Z, Xander Krause joins us now.
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
Dude, I'm starting to believe you guys are being targeted by the league here, man. I mean, this story has not been reported enough. And both the NFL Commissioner's Office and also the Players Association have been quiet on this. So to me, again, you're going around telling teams not to give signing bonuses. Name me another team, Xander, that hasn't given more signing bonus money when it comes to restructuring of contracts than the Philadelphia Eagles.
You're right.
Without those two tools of the signing bonus and the void years, Howie doesn't keep that old line intact.
No, you're right. You're right 100%.
I mean, to me, I think they got it in for you guys. I think because Howie has found the Trump code loophole. That's what I call it. He's had like a Trump, if you don't like it, Hillary, change it.
Yeah, right. Listen, right? Maybe. I mean, they have given the most money, and it wouldn't surprise me if a bunch of other owners who don't care about winning as much as Jeffrey Lurie cares about winning, wanted to rein in the checkbooks and how much money was being doled out. And Jeffrey Lurie is like, all right, if you guys want to all run away from trying to win, I'm going to run to trying to win. And look at what it's done for Jeffrey Lurie. So it's honestly a good theory by you. I mean, it's a theory, but, I think it makes sense, because that is what Jeffrey Lurie has done. And if the league – see, it's funny. This collusion case really got covered up. Like, I haven't seen it anywhere. And then I saw Mike Florio tweet out something about how basically every media outlet in the country is sweeping this collusion case under the rug. And that's exactly what the NFL wants. And it makes sense. They're all in the NFL's pockets. The NFL makes them all a boatload of money. So they're not going to come out there and bash the NFL. But I wonder if it is a bigger deal than we're making it out to be. I got to ask John about it tomorrow.
How about this? I made a comment about, you and I have been going back and forth on Reed Blankenship and $10 million and stuff. I started doing this. Well, wait a minute here. The economics of the league are going up so much, and the payments are going up so much that the league is now going to be paying great salaries to good players. Reed's a good player. Is he a great player? No. But, Xander, what I think this is why, and this goes into what we just said, I think what they want to do is start putting caps on a ceiling and a floor like they do in the NHL, because Jalen Hurts signed that contract 2 years ago. He's already the 12th highest paid quarterback. These salaries are going up.
Yeah, and look at the dudes above them. I mean, come on. Some of those dudes don't.
Absolutely not.
By the way, only one of the guys making $50 million has won a Super Bowl.
And you just gave Trevor Lawrence $55 million. He was the highest paid guy in the league, and that guy hasn't done shit. And my point is this. I think the owners are looking at that 51-49 split when it comes to television revenue, and they're seeing this. The economics are growing faster than even what the salary cap is growing, and these salaries are going through the roof. Look at what you're paying now for an edge rusher, $40 million. You're going to drop 35 to 37 for Carter next year.
Dude, that's crazy. I mean, that's –
So I think the owners want to stop that. And this is why, again, they're going after the void years and they're going after the signing bonus money, because that will not afford Howie the ability to do this. Well, fuck, I'm just going to restructure, put 2 more years on Lane's deal.
Right.
Do you see Lane Johnson's base salary is?
No, it isn't.
It's like 1.5.
And he's making what, like $25 million?
$25 million a year. Based because they give him all the money up front.
Yeah, Sills, I don't know if you caught Birds 365 the other day when we talked about this, the business of the NFL, business of sports right now. Like, I wonder if there's a breaking point coming. I don't think there is.
That's what this is.
I don't think there is for the NFL, though.
I think they want to control it. I don't think they're going to break it, but I think, dude, owners want to make more money than anybody else.
Even the MLB for the first time just took a lesser or just lost their TV deal, and now they're going to have to take a lesser deal. The NHL is probably next after their most recent deal is up. Their ratings were down 10% in the Stanley Cup Finals this year. The NBA ratings were down 10% this year in the NBA Finals. So I wonder if look, I like Juan Soto. Boy, that's light too, man. I think he got like 765. I mean, look, great player. At what point does the back break? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. But
well, it's the Mets. Who gives a shit? Only Jody cares.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm
get how people are Mets fans. That would be like, I mean, if you're going to be a New York fan, how the hell are you going to root for the Mets, the Islanders, the Nets? You're
not.
You can't.
Every October, don't forget, Met fan turns his hat inside out and he's a Yankee fan. Okay? That's what he is. And hey, I'm sending you something here. He gave me this from the Patriots. I want to read something to you here. Okay? All right. So.
Got you. I see it.
Okay. I'm going to read you a scouting report from Kelee Ringo, and you tell me if you agree with this.
Uh-oh.
Kelee Ringo. This is the scouting report from another organization. Kelee Ringo is a young, athletic cornerback with a high ceiling, but some technical inconsistencies. He possesses excellent size and speed, and is a physical player, particularly at the line of scrimmage. However, he can struggle with quicker receivers, particularly in man coverage, and needs to improve his overall technique and consistency. He has the potential to be a starting corner, especially in a zone-heavy scheme, but may require time to develop his skills. This is his strengths now. I didn't know this, Xander. Okay, now, I didn't know that he was this fast. Okay, I did not. According to this scouting report from another team, size and speed, Ringo has ideal cornerback build, good size with 4.36 40-yard dash. I didn't know he was a 4.36 guy.
Dude, he's got size, speed, athleticism.
Physicality. He's a physical player at the line of scrimmage, able to jam receivers to disrupt routes. Ball skills. Ringo has good ball skills and can make plays on the ball when in phase. Zone coverage. He shows good instincts and vision in zone coverage. Tackling. Ringo is willing and effective tackler, using his size and strength to bring down ball carriers. Potential. With development, he is and has the potential to be a high-level starting cornerback. That's a great read. Now, here's his weaknesses. Ringo's coverage technically needs improvement, particularly his footwork and ability to stay in phase with receivers, to stay on the route. Quickness. He can struggle with quicker, more agile receivers, especially in man coverage. Consistency. Ringo's play can be inconsistent with lapses in technique and decision-making. I think that comes with more reps, that he'll get better on that. Processing. He can be slow to process routes and react in changes of direction, which can lead to separation of receivers. That means really great route runners can kind of disrupt them. But again, I think that comes with reps. Handsy. At times, he can be grabby and relies on holding when he's out of position. Overall, here's the synopsis of this team. Ringo's a prospect with significant upside due to his physical tools and potential for growth. However, he needs to refine his technical, improving his consistency to reach his full potential. His best fit may be in a scheme that utilizes his strength, particularly his size, speed, and physicality, while minimizing his weaknesses. What'd you make of that scouting report on him?
Sounds like a good player that has upside but hasn't realized his potential yet. I mean, some of those things that were knocks on him or were deficiencies, I think, are things that over time he can improve at. You know what I mean? You're not a consistent player. A coach like Vic Fangio will help you from rep to rep, get that, at bay. Remember, when you have an athletic guy that's, let's be real, most of Kelee Ringo's life, he's probably been taller than most people, faster than most people, and more physical than most people, stronger than most of them. So he's been able to get away with some of that. And then when you start to line up against pros, some of those things can bite you on a play-to-play basis. That's where the inconsistency comes in. So I think he just has to find his fundamentals and get to it. But I think that was a pretty good report. I mean, I can't be upset at that report, can you?
No way. As a matter of fact, I'm more encouraged.
I think that's a good thing.
Don't you think most of those deficiencies really are just due to lack of reps?
Yeah, I do. I think most of them can be answered.
I mean, again, but here's the one problem you guys.
This is what I don't want to hear, though. Guys too slow won't be able to run with NFL wide receivers. I don't want to hear that. You know what I mean?
You're not hearing that here.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I can live with inconsistency. I don't want to hear that you don't have to trade. This guy's too small. He can't line up with an NFL wideout. This guy's too weak. He can't line up with the A.J. Browns and the Justin Jeffersons of the world. I don't want to hear that. Yeah, right. I don't want to hear that.
Well, here's the one thing, though, that you're going to have to be. Don't you agree then? For Kelee Ringo, it's going to be, is he going to grab it quick? Is he going to grab it slower? Is it going to be next year? How much patience do you think the Eagles are going to have with him? Like, do you think that they're going to give him the year to sit there and develop? Or do you think they're going to be in a position right now? Because, Xander, they believe they have a window this year, right? They believe they have a window.
That, yeah. They should believe that.
Okay, well then, how long of a rope are you giving him?
Yeah, the rope is a different question than how long will the developmental process be? Because the rope signifies if I reach the end of the rope, I need to make a move to keep us in contention. If you have a longer, period of time where you're going to give the guy time to develop, that's a different question. You might be okay if he doesn't develop fully because might not feel like you need to make a move. But I think it is his third year. It's not like he's a rookie, So I don't think it's really long. I think it's 8 weeks,
So do you think Adoree Jackson is like the security blanket for the Eagles if this thing don't work out?
Mm-hmm. Maybe even quicker, by the way. 8 weeks is long. I mean, if he stinks for 8 weeks, let's be real. We're in Philly. If he stinks for 1 week, people will be calling for Adoree week 2.
Yeah. Well, and they might yank him in that.
I don't know if it'd be that early, but I do think he's going to have to take.
I'm with you.
Quick.
I think they'll at least give him a month. Now, if he's just getting waxed out there, I think they're not going to do that. But okay. So let me read you Moro Ojomo's now. I'm going to do one every day because I got one tomorrow. I'm going to do Nolan Smith and I'm going to do Jalix Hunt. My friend gave me these reports on him. So here's Moro Ojomo. Strong hands, high motor, and ability to shed blocks, particularly in the run game. He's a powerful player with good initial burst off the snap. He can struggle with lateral movement and bending on the edge. While he plays with good leverage and balance, he may need to add more mass to be able to absorb the double teams. And I'll get to that because you guys brought something up. I mean, he is 285. He's going against guys that are going to be 350 minimum when you're talking tackles. Here's his strengths. Ojomo plays with a relentless effort, fighting with blocks and pursuing to the ball carrier. Strong hands and shedding ability. He's effectively uses his hands to disparage guards and blockers and the pass rush and run. Great leverage balance. He plays with great leverage. Initial burst, he has it. Run defense. He shows potential to be an effective run defender with ability to shed and get off blocks. That's a great sign. I don't believe that, but this is what a team thinks of him. Now, here's his weaknesses. Lateral agility. I completely agree with this. Ojomo could struggle with lateral movement, making it difficult to pursue the plays and sideline to get around blocks. His bend flexibility. He lacks the flexibility and bend to consistently win as a pass rusher off the edge. Functional strength. While powerful, he needs to add more mass and strength for anchoring double teams. Pass rush moves. He's got a variety of them, but he has overly refined his pass rush. He hasn't. Processing. He can occasionally hesitate with processing misdirection, potential leading to lost plays, which means he can be faked out by influence plays. Like if you have an influence block one way, he hasn't seen enough playing time to not know that they're trying to get him out of position to scoop and slip him and come backside. What's the one thing? What'd you make of that report first?
Yeah, it's right. I mean, that's what we're expecting with Moro, right? Coming in, I think we need him to take those next steps. And I don't think that report was off. I mean, it sounds right to me. Yeah.
I don't think it's. What do you think the most important thing last year that Josh Sweat and Milton Williams did? They set the edge, dude.
Right.
Look at what happens here, Xander. When you
Did Milton Williams set the edge, though?
Bro, you were number 1 in the NFL.
Yeah, but was that Milton?
Well, who played the edges? One guy was on one side, one guy was on the other side.
Josh Sweat played one edge and Nolan Smith or Brandon Graham or, played the other edge.
Well, I think it was Milton and it was Josh who were out there setting edges. Those guys are off ball. They're off the ball a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know how much Milton set
more
the edge last year, dude. I might be wrong, but I don't remember Milton was setting the edge much last year.
Well, you had your nose tackle. You had Milton over on the right side.
So he was playing what, 4-eye technique on the inside of the tackle's arms?
Yeah. I mean, you had in the middle, you had a nose, then you had Josh, then you had Milton, and the two guys in the middle in there were Davis and Carter, right?
Yeah, but Milton wasn't on the outside.
Dude, well, he was left defensive end.
No, he wasn't.
What did he play then?
No, he played defensive tackle.
Dude, you played a nose tackle.
Dude, he weighed a 50 front.
You play okay. Well, then that means he's playing on the he's left defensive. The guy Moro Ojomo's taking his role. Moro Ojomo's playing left defensive end.
No, he wasn't. That was Graham. It was BG, and then it was Nolan.
Brandon Graham was the strong side outside linebacker.
I don't think Milton really set the edge much. I can't like. I don't like
the outside line. Brandon played strong side linebacker. Your edge rushers are your weak and you're strong. And
no, I know what you're saying. I'm not dismissing that.
I know. I'm just saying your guys on the outside were Josh and were Graham.
I mean, when I think of Milton Williams, I never thought of him as that at all. Like I would think of him as he capitalized on the one-on-one reps he got because Carter, Davis, Sweat, all the other guys were eating up the remaining guys, and he was getting one-on-ones, and he was taking people to school and getting after the quarterback. I never viewed him as an edge setter type of dude.
Well, again, the left defensive end last year for your defense in that base was Milton. He played left defensive end last year. That was your front.
Dude, are you mixing him with somebody?
No, I'm not.
You're not?
Well, who's Moro Ojomo taking the place of?
Milton.
Okay, well, right now on your depth chart, Milton Williams playing left defensive end.
So what would Jalen Hunt be playing?
Strong side linebacker. And that front, that's what he's based. That's what your base is right now. Okay? Here. Let's go to your depth chart. It's here's your depth chart. This is your depth chart that you have right now. Here's your depth chart. Here.
No, I'm not trying to argue with you on it. I'm trying to get the truth. Yeah, I'm trying to.
Your left defensive end right now is Moro Ojomo. Your nose tackle is Jordan Davis. Your right defensive end is Jalen Carter. Your will linebacker is Nolan Smith. Your strong side backer right now is Azeez Ojulari. Your edges are your outside LBs in this base 34 front. Now, you're right when you go and you're talking about 5 front, bare front, and you're talking about Nick. Yeah. You're right. Those guys aren't out there. But your outside linebackers are the strong side and will side. That's what a 34 is. So my point is, look how great you guys were. Remember what you said the first 2 weeks of the season when you said Bryce Huff is just getting mashed down in. He was stopping pursuit. The things that those guys did a year ago. Look at this. They set the edge.
I know.
And get this. The nose played great. So where are you running the ball, Xander? Where the fuck? Now, when you get collapsed, you got freedom to run anywhere.
Right.
The biggest thing that Jalix Hunt and Moro Ojomo have to do this year, okay, is set that edge. Fuck the pass rushing. I don't care.
See, I don't think of it. No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I agree that that's the most important thing. But do you think that's going to be Moro Ojomo's role? He's not good at that.
No, I think
He's a pass rush guy.
Bro, I think all these guys are going to have to play a massive role in setting that edge out there.
I know, but I think set the edge. I think Nolan. I think Jalix. Set the edge.
Boy, man, really, that's a big ask for two guys that have not played 17 games in their entire life. As a starter. I mean, that's a lot, Xander. Wow. As a matter of fact, let me go here with this. I wrote this here to you. So Kelee Ringo and Slay, are you going to expect like a massive drop off from that, Xander, or are you going to expect Kelee, like I just read his report to you?
Well,
do you think that that's going to be more? And by the way, I'm not ripping the kid because I really do like that report that I got from this.
yeah,
this
I mean, look,
team.
you can like the player with while also understanding that he hasn't proven it yet, on the field of play, which is where it matters. So, no, I don't think he's going to be an upgrade. The one spot I could see an upgrade is Sweat. As good as he was when he was on the field, he wasn't on the field a whole lot. Yeah, well, no, he wasn't on the field a lot. He wasn't on the field that much. Like I don't think Kelee Ringo is going to be coming off the field as much as Slay came off the field if he can play. Now, will he be as good? I don't think so. I mean, you're talking about I don't know how many time All-Pro with Darius Slay. This guy's obviously a very good football player. So I don't think he's going to be better, but will he be competent enough to not be? I don't know. John made a good point. I'm like, I don't think he'll be a liability. I forget who we were talking about. I'm like, I don't think he'll be a liability. He's like, yeah, well, I got news for you. Super Bowl teams don't have guys that aren't liabilities. They have good players. All right. He can't be just not a liability. He's got to be a good player.
Let me ask you about him. Was he on that national champion, Nick Saban's last national title team?
Who?
Kelee Ringo?
No, he was a Georgia guy.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, but he did win at Georgia.
Okay. So he played back there in that secondary. He played back there with that.
He was a boss at Georgia, man. He was a damn good player. I remember that year that he was at Georgia and Alabama played them. We didn't even throw at him.
He played at those two national title teams?
I think so, yeah. I'd have to look at both if he was there for multiple. Because remember, he left school pretty early. Or he was at least really young. Kelee Ringo, national champion. He did have an interception, I think, in one national championship.
So, I mean, there's another guy here that doesn't have a lot of losses in his career.
Remember, he won. He got the interception against Alabama in the Natty Chip.
That's pretty impressive. Jalix Hunt is going to take Josh Sweat's role, right?
Who would?
Jalix Hunt.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be Nolan, and then Jalix would take Nolan's role late in the year last year.
See,
I think Nolan's got to be the top guy.
See, to me, Nolan's got to play on the weak side. You can't.
Well, that's probably there. Yeah, you know what? Then you're probably right. They're probably going to keep him on that side. Yeah. I don't think they're going to move him to the other side. On
the current depth chart in the building right now, they've got Nolan at the will, which is
because remember, and when Jalix came in last year, he did come in on that side as well.
So he's got to do Josh Sweat's role, right? Does that mean you're expecting him to play 800 snaps?
Dude, that's a lot of snaps, but I think so, yeah. I mean,
how do you feel about that?
I think that's a lot, but I mean, look, that's the nature of the beast coming in this year. The Eagles made decisions that they weren't going to bring everybody back. There are pros and there are cons. Last time they got burnt by bringing too many back and expecting the same result, it didn't work. Now we're putting more stock in younger players that have to develop and get on the football field. If they don't play well, it's going to be a big issue. If he plays good, it's not going to be an issue at all.
Do you think that this could be the biggest gap of all the replacements, Steen and Becton?
Biggest gap?
Yeah. Talent gap. Or do you think it's Slay and Ringo?
Yeah, I think it's – what about Makuba?
Makuba and CJ, okay? Because here's the replacement. Kelee Ringo, Slay, Hunt, Sweat.
Right.
Makuba is CJ. Ojomo's Milton. Steen is Becton.
Right.
Which of those do you think is the biggest?
Yeah, I think probably Steen. I don't know. I think probably Steen and Becton. But I don't know. That's tough. What do you think about that?
Man, that slave role. After reading that, boy, I'll tell you, after reading that scouting report on Kelee Ringo, I didn't know that he was that good. Or how about this? I'll take it back. The word I hate the most. I didn't know he had all that potential. But you know what bugs me about that potential? So you have all that potential. You haven't been able to get on the fucking field? I mean, damn, dude. You've got all those things, people saying that about you, and you haven't been able to get on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't even get on the field over Isaiah Rodgers. I mean, come on now, man. I mean, I don't know.
You see these videos coming out today, by the way, of Cooper DeJean again?
What's he doing? Is he doing the hoochie dance?
The whole WIP and Jason Kelsey are down there in Sea Isle. And
wait
a second. This dude's chugging beers. He's shirtless. Hugh Douglas is talking to him about his DMs. He's running across.
Oh my God.
He's running across floats on the water and shit. I'm like, boy, the Eagles front office got to be looking at that, stressing out, man. I mean, Jimmy Brown's there too, by the way.
Hold on. What is this on? Is this on
I forget
Twitter?
where I saw it. Somebody from WIP posted it because it's their event. They're doing the event.
Hold on here. I got to.
They pay $10 million to the Eagles, by the way, for their events. Everybody.
Oh,
$10 million a year is what it costs to be the official partner of the Eagles.
Look at Cooper DeJean with his shirt off. Holy crap! This guy. Look at this guy. Look at it.
Listen, look. Jay Brown, I'm with you, bro. Jay Brown says, let the boy live. But Jay Brown, let me ask you something, all right? Look, I'm with you, man. Live it up. You're 22 years old. You're a star. You're Super Bowl pick. All this, all the, you know me. I love all the good stuff. But is there not the littlest, slightest inkling of concern of, hey, young man.
Come on, dog.
We're 26 days out from a training camp, my friend. I mean, come on, man.
He's gunning beers.
I mean, listen, it's all fun and games, but I want to win another Super Bowl. You know?
Holy shit, this guy's gunning beers. 26 days out.
Here, dude. Probably like some like goofy seltzer or something. I don't know, Kyle.
Hey, he's gunning beers. 26 days out from training camp, chasing hoochie mamas. I mean, this guy thinks he's in Iowa. Hey, dog,
you're not. He's a stud, man. You're
not in redneck Iowa, man.
But Philly, he lives up to the billing, man. I mean, like you talk about a star. That guy's got stars seeping out of his pores.
Love this guy. Are you kidding me?
He's a stud. He's a stud.
Hey, real quick, Xander. I was with you. I didn't watch one fucking second of the damn NBA draft last night. But I do say this to you. Something's messed up in our country. When a white guy goes number one, and we got a white chick, and we got a white chick that's number one in the WNBA.
Not a Euro either, by the way. This is no European white dude.
No, this is a white dude.
Yeah, this is an American white dude.
Hey, and by the way, I gotta be careful when I say Cooper Flag. I mean,
Cooper Flag and Cooper DeJean. It's like a white boy. The white boys are running right now.
It's like the invasion of the white guys.
And wait, no, I will say this: that Cooper Flag kid, man. That kid?
He's a player.
He's a
player.
That kid's a player, man. Yeah, he's a player.
I got a couple NFL questions for you before we get to some of the. Hey, guys, supers, please. We'd love to have them here for you, and also please hit the like button here. All right, Bills or Ravens to take on your Eagles in the Super Bowl?
Bills. I got Bills this year. Everybody's riding the Ravens pine. They're a better roster, a better team, and all the things on the paper would say take the Ravens. For that reason, I'm going to take the Bills. I'm taking Josh Allen and the Bills.
MVP. You in on Joe Burrow?
Is his defense any better? Can't win the MVP if you don't make the playoffs.
No.
Joe Burrow was arguably the MVP of the league last year. I'm gonna have to say no.
Okay.
I do think he'll have an MVP worthy season though, but I don't know if he'll get the actual award.
Do the Eagles break the 21-year hex on the NFC East?
Yes. Yep.
Do they break the 10-year hex on a team winning their division and winning their conference?
Ooh, that's a tough X too. I'm going to say yes.
Okay. Does Caleb Williams go for 4K and 30 TDs this year?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I think that kid's got the talent, and he does have the coordinator that even if it doesn't look good, he might walk his way into 4K.
So let me ask you, when you guys say sacks don't matter, okay?
Well, I don't think sacks don't matter. I understand the context of they're not everything.
Okay. So what do you think that Trey Hendrickson's going to get on the open market for 17.5 sacks?
Well, that was acknowledged. See, you're pulling snippets. That was acknowledged today that you get paid on sacks.
Oh, so if they don't matter, though, I mean,
okay, no, they matter, but they don't.
What do you think, TJ Watt? Wait
a second. Yes, to get paid, sacks are the number one metric for a defensive end, 100% without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay.
Why was the two-time leader in the NFL, the leading sack artist, Trey Hendrickson, and he was a part of literally a pile of trash cans as a defensive unit? Doesn't that prove that they're not everything?
No, that's because that team's not very good. He's good.
He had 19 sacks, and he's one of the worst defenses in the league.
Well, it's not his fault.
Well, the sacks clearly didn't do that much then.
Okay, well, at the end of the day, I mean, it's a unit. It's not a player.
Well,
I mean, there goes that conversation again. Yeah, you have the Bengals. And you know what? He can only worry. What is Nick Saban? I thought you being an Alabama guy, you would have understood this better than anyone. What does Nick tell you? Take care of your own sandbox. Take care of your own sandbox. It's all you can control.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts. Nobody better at it than him.
I mean, take care of your own sandbox, dude. Well, he does take care of his sandbox.
Yeah, but there is different ways to do it. You remember Hassan Reddick in 2023?
Hassan Reddick was on a team that was number 2 in defense in the NFL.
And team had an issue. No, that was 22. Team had an issue with Hassan Reddick in 23 because he came back 23. Off the path, and all he wanted to do was go out and get a sack.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Was Hassan Reddick a different ball player in 23 than he was in 22?
Well, it was a different type of year for sure, but yeah, he was.
He was the same ball player he was in 22.
No, he wasn't.
The defense was different. You didn't have Gardner Johnson. You couldn't cover a cold. And your defensive line was giving up 145, according to Reuben Franks, per game for 10 games. The defense was just not the same. The defense in 22 they had Linval Joseph, they had Dominic Sue, they had all them. They were good up front. It was a different unit. Dude, that's why I say, when you talk about players in the league, dude, it really does come down to organizations. You know, a player can't control what a unit does.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's true.
That's why the Eagles have done the best job. Hey, by the way, one last one here. I brought this up this morning on the Tampa show, and I say this. There's 2 teams right now in the last 5 years that have been the best organizations in football. It's Eagles and Chiefs. Okay? You think the Bucs are third? The last 5 years.
No.
Well, here, wait. They've won 5 division titles. They've won a Super Bowl, and they've won an NFC championship in that time frame. And they've won 51 ball games. Who's better?
You might be right.
Rams, maybe, right? Rams, maybe.
Rams, Baltimore, although they don't have the top end success, they do have the consistent success. When's the last time the Bills lost? When's the last time the Bills lost their division?
Oh, the Bills have I think the Bills have won 5 in a row too. But again, the over like 49ers, maybe they've been to 2
maybe 49ers, maybe Bucks. You're right, maybe Bucks.
So wouldn't you put the top 5 programs, top 5 football teams, Kansas City, Philly, because Kansas City's been to 4 Super Bowls in 5 years. They've got 3 wins. The Eagles have been to 2 and got 1 win. They're second for sure.
Wait, did the Bucs get Brady the year after, or did the Bucs get Baker the year after Brady left, or did they have a year layoff?
They had the 8 and 9 year. They won the division still. But then Brady retired after that because Dak went down there. They beat the doorknobs off him. Yeah. And then Baker came in, I think in 22. I think he came in. But when you put these in order here, it would be KC, Eagles, Bucks, Rams, 49ers. The best organizations in the last 5 years.
I think you're pretty close. I think that's pretty good.
You could switch the Rams and the Bucks if you wanted, because I like the Rams' success because the Rams won the Super Bowl 4 years ago too. I mean, they won an NFC championship.
Yeah, right. And they've won a lot of games. They've won a lot of games.
And they've done so. If you wanted to flip them, would you put the Niners in the top 5?
Probably, right?
Yeah, they've been to 2 Super Bowls in 5 years.
When's the last time they won, though, man?
Oh, 90.
Seifert, right?
Yes, 94 is the last time they won a Super Bowl. They've been to 2 under Kyle Shanahan. They've been to 3, actually, with Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh went. Kyle Shanahan has been to 2, I think, in the last decade. So they've been to 3, and they've lost all 3. Before they were 5-0. Now they're 5-3 in Super Bowls. Man, are you concerned about all this outside noise with the Eagles?
No. I think the team is a really good mindset. I mean, I think to Howie's credit, I think the best thing he's done in the last 4 or 5 years is not only draft good players, but draft the right players. And you draft guys. There's certain dudes that I'm sure everybody experiences in any facet of life, but certainly in pro sports, where certain dudes are driven and built and motivated by different things. You heard Nolan Smith today, and they asked him about, or he was on a podcast, I think it was on with Cooper DeJean actually, and they asked him about like the ring, getting the ring, and he's like, dude, I don't care about the ring. Like that season is over. The ring commemorates that season, but I'm not looking forward to the ring. I'm looking for the next season. We have a new year, a new team, a new goal, a new mission, and a new thing to tackle. You hear the same thing with Jalen Hurts. You heard the same thing with Nick Sirianni in the locker room. I mean, I think
that's the proper mentality.
Yeah, and it's rare, but it is championship mentality. AJ Brown said the same thing. I won the Super Bowl, and I just kept looking. It didn't satisfy me. The work satisfies me. Devontae Smith, same thing. So I think you have a collection of talent right now. Even Jalen Carter. By the way, did you hear Jalen Carter's recent comments?
No.
About the contract?
No. What did he say?
He echoed kind of that, when my time comes, I'm going to get paid, but I also want to win more than I want to be the highest paid player in the league. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to take $20 million.
No.
But it might mean he might not take 40 and he might take 34 with a team-friendly deal and a lot of money up front.
Well, he's in a pretty comfortable zone when you're whacking players for him, and now you're he's sitting there, and that's one thing to go like this. Hey, man, when it comes, and you're getting rid of every guy on the defense, the number 1 defense for you. Hey, they're doing that for you, son.
And that's not all because of him.
Oh, okay. Who? Reed Blankenship?
What do you mean, Cooper DeJean? He's got to buy it. He's got to buy a mansion down the shore somehow. Big Cells.
You think they're going to pay him $25 million?
Cooper Shiesty?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Are you kidding me? That guy will retire an Eagle.
Holy shit. That guy may retire.
This dude, Cooper Shiesty's walking up and down the parkway, dude, like he runs he hasn't left the tri-state area since the Super Bowl. This guy's from Iowa, born and raised, goes to college there, and he hasn't left the tri-state. This dude is a freaking celebrity in these parts, dude. He is going nowhere.
Let me tell you what this guy reminds me of. The first time he takes somebody to a strip club, and he's in the strip club, and he sees all the mamas on stage doing it, and he's like, wow, look at this. This is unbelievable. Dude, I'm telling you, he better not. There's no way he has a girlfriend. There is no.
I think he does, apparently.
Oh, my God. How in the world? I would have dumped her immediately after I won that Super Bowl. Yeah, if not, she better be in a prom
relationship, and he wants to get married to her. Then rock it out. I'm not going to tell.
Hey, let me tell you what I did. So after I got signed by the Bucks, I went up.
You're married 40 years. You don't know what the fuck.
No.
You don't remember it.
No, check this out. Listen to this. Oh, I know.
Your wife's in the other room calling bluff on your bullshit right now.
No, she'll tell you this is true. So I go up. I was supposed to marry this chick, and I was supposed to marry. Got her a ring, everything. My grandfather's sitting at the dinner table. This is a true story. So we're sitting at the dinner table just like this. My grandfather looks over at this girl, and I won't name her name. God, she's a good chick and all, but my grandfather goes like this. You don't really think he's going to marry you, do you? And I'm sitting there going like, this really, hey, wait, I'm going like, she goes, yeah, the invitations have gone out. The ring, I got the ring. And I'm like,
you proposed to this chick?
oh, no, we had the whole fucking thing set up. The dress was, she got married in the dress I got her. Not to me, though. But listen, wait a minute. So my grandfather, she used the ring that I gave her. So wait a minute. I'm going like this. Look, I got her like a 2-3 carat ring, whatever it was. So I'm going like this. Yeah, I think we have to have a talk. She got, yeah, just like that. It was terrible. And then I met, because that's.
And then you met Kimbo.
My wife is like, she's listening. And I met her, and I go, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going with the prom queen.
Your wife sat your ass down on the couch and said, sit down, shut up. You're not fucking.
I had dated that girl for 5 years, too. 5 years. My grandfather looked right at her and goes, you don't really think he's marrying you, do you?
Wait, she keep the ring or she give it back?
Yeah, she kept the ring, the dress.
Oh, man.
The dress was like $6,000. The whole thing, man. Holy cow, this thing was big dough.
Geez, you leave with your Corvette, too, for crying out loud?
No. But my grandfather goes like this. Think about it. How much you spend on the ring? I go about $3-4 grand. Because what you spend on the dress? I go like this, about $5 grand. What you spend on the invitations? I go about $2,500. He goes, think of this way. You got off light.
Yeah. 10 G's. 10 G's is light.
Hey.
I'm with Marquise. He says, I want my stuff back. Yeah, honey.
I didn't have the balls to ask for it back.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I didn't. I didn't have the cojones to do it. All right, let's get to a couple of these supers. Guys, throw some more supers at us here. Get this. Hold on. What was it?
Oh, man.
I'm not going to comment on that one, but she's right.
Elizabeth, we all have those phases as men. I think every man has those phases.
No, she's right, though, man.
Just start fucking spending on toys. You don't even look at the price tags.
Bro, wait a minute. I had an American Express Gold Card. I had, I had a Diners Club. I had everything on the Xander. I'm walking into places like this, like I'm Cooper DeJean. I'm like,
no wonder you love Cooper DeJean so much. You're living vicariously through Cooper DeJean.
That's exactly what I did. I went down to Jones Beach. I went down to all these places in New York. I'm doing this.
Oh my gosh. I can't imagine Sileo in this
my God. I had money. Man. I had money like a fool too, man. I did. Get this. I had a Corvette. I had a Lotus Esprit. I had a Maserati. I had a Porsche. I had 4 cars all at once.
Surprised you had a German car.
Yeah, I had that Porsche. I loved it.
Yeah, Porsche's best.
Holy cow, man! Let's get to some of these supers here.
I'm an American guy, Sills. I give me a Cadillac. Give me
You're an American guy.
Give me a Mustang. Give me a Charger or a Challenger. Give me American muscle, baby. Come on, Sills.
GTO, right?
Huh?
I had a Corvette. And now, nothing. You know that commercial? What's in your wallet? Nothing.
Yeah, right. I don't even remember what it feels like to buy something, Elizabeth. JD, Sill's been defending loser teams and loser players all offseason. I wouldn't pay Trey Hendrickson $5 after seeing Fred Johnson bully his ass.
Okay, hey, JD3, what do you think Trey Hendrickson's going to get, though, in the open market?
I don't know. He's in Cincinnati. Probably not much more than 5.
30 million? 30 million? No, not there. He ain't playing there. They're going to trade his ass and someone's going to sign him for 30. Loser player? Well, that loser player is going to make 30. How you doing, JD3? Fred stuffed him, and he's still going to make 30.
El Camino. Marquis says, give me a Benz. I don't know. I like Benz.
I owned a Benz before.
Huh?
I owned a Benz and a Beamer.
I had a Mustang back in the day. Before I had my truck, that's what I was driving.
My wife loves Mustangs. I think.
Dude, are you kidding me? My favorite car. Also, I like the Shelbys a lot more than I like the regulars. But I used to have a convertible. I would drive down to Cape May, dude. Fucking fresh out of college. I had my own business. I was making a little bit of hay, making a little bit of moolah. Dropped the top. I was riding through Cape May like my shit.
Bro, I'm telling you, man. I drove one of those Cobra Jets once. Hey, guys, I really appreciate these supers coming in. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
hey, listen. Hey, dude, let me tell you this. I drove one of those Cobra Jets once. Holy shit.
Yeah, they're
those 427s.
Yeah, I know. My uncle builds them.
A couple of my friends had them down in Florida, down in Miami.
Yeah.
Those Shelby Cobra Jets are insane.
Look, Jack says I'm a truck guy. Jack, I'm in a truck now. I'm bored, bro. I want to get out there. I got kids coming one day, Jack. I don't know when I'll ever be able to shred the roads again. I got to get out there. I got to bang some gears, Jack. Come on, man. East Coast Rico says, give me y'all fave player for each NFC East team. All right, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels on Commanders, CeeDee Lamb on Dallas, and Dexter Lawrence on New York.
I like that. I'll go Cooper DeJean, Eagles. Yeah, I'll go Cooper DeJean, Eagles. I will go Jaden Daniels, Washington. Cowboys. I'm going to go Dak.
Oh, my gosh.
And then New York, I'm gonna go Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, he's an obvious in New York.
Yeah, I love that guy. Yes. That'd be my lineup.
There you go. Not bad. Brian Fleming checking in. What up, B Flem? He says,
thank you guys for these supers. Keep them coming.
Why did Grandpa not like that floozy? Did he say why? Also, my bad, Sills. I was thinking Tyrone Hughes, not Will Shield. Same class, 93.
Yeah, no, I made the comment that.
Well, you got to answer why Grandpa didn't like the floozy.
Well, she wasn't a floozy, but
sounds like she was a floozy.
No, she wasn't.
Or maybe she was smart. Maybe she took your 10 G's, walked in, and walked out.
No, listen. Actually, Jimmy let me live with her when I was at Miami.
Oh, come on, a Catholic living with his wife pre-marriage?
No, my grandfather.
Oh, come on in, Betty. How do you let this happen in, Betty?
Wait a minute. So get this. Wait. So my grandmother goes like this. Yeah, I'm staying. I'm living with her, and she goes, "Where are you sleeping, under the bed?" So I could. I was like, "Yeah." So where are you sleeping?
I was gonna say, Aunt Betty wouldn't allow that to happen. You had to
wait a second. I got a better one for you. So my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, she goes up with my grandfather. She's got these pills on the table, and so in front of my grandmother, she's like, she takes this pill, puts it in her mouth, and my grandmother goes, "Oh, what's that?" And of course, Kim didn't know any better. She goes, "That's birth control pill." She goes, "Oh." And I had a conversation after that. I had a conversation after that.
Oh man, that makes me queasy. I don't like that.
Hey,
Fredo says, good.
Just saying, my grandparents were very yeah. I mean,
I don't have any rules. I didn't grow up with strict parents. I don't have any rules. That's one rule I wouldn't be allowed to do.
I know this. I brought one chick.
You will not move in with your woman until you are married, young man. That is a rule I have to live by.
I remember this. I brought a chick home once. My grandmother goes, she was in the next room. "Don't you ever bring anything like that over to this house ever again." That was the last time I had that conversation. So yeah, they were pretty strict with me like that. I never swore in my grandfather's house. Really? Here I swear like I'm John McMullen.
You guys are Italians. I don't believe it. Fredo says Smitty was franchise record for postseason. Postseason yards?
For what? I thought the guy who had the most
no, he's saying Smith has it now. I don't know. I have to look that up. Fredo's saying
postseason yards over who? Amendola?
Postseason yards.
How could he have it over Edelman and Amendola and them guys who were in 4? Can't have that.
JD3 checks in. Whoever gives 30-plus-year-old Trey $30 million needs to pay Fred Johnson $60 million while they're making bad decisions.
Hey, get this. They're going to pay him, guy.
JD, I like that take.
They just these guys are going to – they gave Hassan Reddick $14.5 million in Tampa for 1 sack. He had 1 sack with the Jets, and he was walking around with a hula hoop, and he was walking around in like Japanese garb. He was trying to try out for Godzilla. Come on, man. This guy thought he was going to get a role in the new Godzilla movie.
Here's Twiz. Did you download the app? We need you in football shape. Davis is showing you up number. Put down the cannoli.
I saw the video already. I downloaded the app already, Twiz. Kiss my
Yo, Twiz.
Here,
This
so
is Sileo. He had his feet kicked up on the sofa after work. He had a Corona in one hand or a margarita or whatever the hell he was drinking. He downloads this app. He takes one single look at day one and he says, "Yeah, I ain't doing all that." Closes it out and starts sipping on his drink.
No, that's not what I did. I looked at the ones where you could do your exercises in bed. Remember he said I could do my exercises in bed. So that's the one I looked at.
Sill's been defending loser teams and loser players all offseason. I wouldn't pay Trey Hendrickson. Oh, no, we already read that.
But get this, JD3. At the end of the day, dude, they're going to.
You gotta move on. I got Cole in the green room. We got 20 chats. Yo, JD3, I love you. We're not getting you twice. Holy crap. Kyle says, New York teams represent the state a train wreck. Yeah, I agree, Kyle.
Hey,
a train wreck. They just elected a socialist, I think, too, in the city. Kyle Kokorski says, Sills, I'm actually in favor of the transfer portal. I went to high school with this guy named Joel Caleb, who was buried at the depth chart at Virginia Tech, and he was a '1 recruit in VA.
I do love it too. Xander, what do you make of your Bama program, man? You think they're going to be?
I think in the season last year I was hard on them because I'm just so used to Saban, and it's hard to set a standard. But I do understand that whenever a coach of that magnitude or a person in an organization of that magnitude leaves, it doesn't just get fixed right away. And I think I'm going to give DeBoer another year. Like, let me see what he does with the team now. Year one is tough. Let's see what he can do in year two. But I don't think we're going to be as powerhouse. That's just the reality. I
think Neil has changed the room for everybody.
Yeah, right. Kyle again says, imagine growing up a house with 20 Sillses. That's my family. Good night.
Hey, I will tell you that in my family,
20
we had a bunch of lunatics. I will tell you that, man. I mean, whoever hollered the loudest was whoever won the hollered the loudest. I think without a doubt won the argument. I think Jason's having some trouble checking in with us here.
Yeah, he is. I can see that the camera's not working on him. I'm not sure. I can try and call him once I get off.
Yeah, if you can you hook me up here, Xander?
Yeah, I'll do it. One more super chat and we'll get to him. Okay. East Coast says,
guys, thank you guys so much.
Sills, when you and J-Mac face off, say "stop it" to J-Mac as your first words.
Yeah. Why
East
would
Coast,
I want to do
I'm thinking? I'm modifying the Sileo and McMullen contracts to add, you must have a segment a week together, and I don't care if you want to kill each other. I got money to make, I got views to generate, and I got things to do. All right?
That's freaking unbelievable. I love that. Here, Xander's like, I don't care if you want to kill each other.
Which you probably will.
No, not me, because you know why? I'm the more level-headed one.
Oh. Both of you were right in the face on that famous post-game show.
Hey, you know what we're gonna do? Because Jason Cole is plugged into this. Before I leave you, Xander, this collusion case that the NFL lost. So I'm gonna ask Jason how come.
I want to hear what Jason.
And get this too. And get this, Mike Florio. Just like you said, this has been one of the most swept under stories across the media page. Because nobody wants to go against the NFL on this. Again, they lost the collusion case, and it's really got a lot to do with upfront money. Remember, what really started this too, Xander? Remember the COVID year? They didn't have a cap that year.
Right.
So you know what that did? That allowed teams to spend like drunken sailors. And they didn't have to have a salary cap. Yeah. And I think there's
a lot of owners who don't want to win. And this is probably, it doesn't surprise me that they wanted to put a cap on what people are making. Now, I don't really know the whole nature of the story. That's why I'm going to listen to what Jason has to say. But I will say this, if you're not super plugged into NFL media, like we are, where we're researching the stuff every day because it's our life, you didn't hear about this story. It hasn't been talked about much. But all right, so it's good show, bro. I'll get you tomorrow.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. All right. This is one of the reasons why we talk to listen, there's a couple guys I talked to. I talked to Jared Bell up in Baltimore. I talked to Armando Salguero down in Miami, who's now living in Tampa, believe it or not. I love him. He went to school with me, believe it or not, down at the University of Miami. Jason worked in Miami, and he's been with the National Football League for years. And Again, here's my contention. Salaries are escalating so much. We were talking about Reed Blankenship getting $10 million. You're going to start paying good players exceptional money. What I think happened with that CBA a couple of years ago, when they did the split in TV 51-49 with the players, it used to be the reverse. I think the owners are now looking at that going, wait a minute, these salaries, you're going to pay $40 million now for an edge rusher. They're escalating at a crazy rate because of streaming, because of gambling, and because of TV contracts. Okay? So the NFL owners, and I'm going to read this one last thing here before I get my friend up here, Jason Cole. This is what the judge said himself. There is little question that the NFL Management Council, with the blessing of the commissioner, has been telling and encouraging 32 NFL clubs to reduce guarantees for veterans' contracts. This was at the March 22 annual meetings. The judge said that there's little doubt they were doing this, so they were colluding. You know what that means? Howie Roseman's void years and the big money up front with the guarantees. This is how you control your cap in Philly. Let's get Jason Cole in here. It's kind of a complex story, isn't it, Chase? I mean, it's kind of
it's extremely complex. It's not interesting to fans in a general sense of feeling like players have been harmed because people don't care about players because they make so much money, right? They also don't care about, like, the owners make even more, right? So they put that out of their mind. So it's hard to get people interested in understanding a collusion case. And that actually the most significant part of the collusion case is not that the owners colluded, because they do, and it's kind of obvious that they do. And in a sense, you expect them to, because they're trying to keep costs under control. Management has tried to do that forever. The biggest thing about this story, and the one that's the most glaring that people don't get, is that the NFL union, the NFL Players Association, the one that represented you as a player and represents all these guys, they didn't publicize this.
right. I don't get it.
They didn't publicize all the evidence that they had in this thing that says that there was collusion going on. Even though they technically lost the arbitration, but they really, if you look at the preponderance of evidence and where this can go, they won. They won easily, right? But in the arbitration, they lost, so they didn't get any damages per se, but they got so much leverage for the next negotiation. And more importantly, they got leverage for what should have been guarantees for players this year.
Huh.
And so guys should have gotten not just more money, okay, because there's a cap, there's a limit to how much you're going to get, but you should have been able to get more money guaranteed. And guys who are not just quarterbacks should have been able to get guaranteed money in this. And this should have been the pressure point. Instead, the union sat on it. And you're sitting here going, why? And then you're starting to piece together, hey, wait a second, like the executive director of the NFLPA was involved in the largest fraud case in the history of the U.S. government. 300, he was the CFO, the chief financial officer. This is Lloyd Howell, the current executive director of the NFL Players Association, was the point guy in a $377 million fraud case.
Wow.
By Booz Allen on the U.S. government. Booz Allen, the company he used to work for, overcharged the U.S. government by $377 million. And he was the guy calling the shots on that. Or at least he took responsibility for it. He's he resigned. He's never been prosecuted, but he's very much, you could say, there's some criminal behavior there. And he's running the NFL Players Association now. And meanwhile, the whole system was set up by J.C. Tretter, the outgoing president of the NFL Players Association, who, he's setting it up so he can be the next president. So he got a quid pro quo job from Lloyd Howell. So this is all illegal. It's just unbelievable what's going on with the union.
Why hasn't this story been promoted more?
Because, again, it's hard to understand. This is more of a business section story. This is a Wall Street Journal story or a New York Times front page story, not your typical, sports page story. It's too hard to unravel. But there's a lot of guaranteed money here that athletes should have had more leverage to get this offseason if they had just publicized all this collusion that was going on by the owners. But they never publicized it. They never told their own players that it happened. They never showed them stuff in advance of free agency. They didn't tell the agents about it.
So this is more on the Players Association, in your opinion, than it is even on the NFL, because, hey, you knew the NFL was going to do whatever.
Look, the NFL is blaming the NFL. Yes, they did something that's illegal, okay? But that's like saying that you made it illegal for lions to eat raw meat. They're going to do it, okay? What you have to do is you have to moderate, how much are they going to do it, right? You got to keep it under control. And that's what there's stunning information here about the owners, but you expect it of the owners. What you don't expect, this is the man bites dog moment in the whole thing, is that the union didn't explain this to its own players.
Wow.
That's staggering to me.
It is.
The Lloyd Howell, the executive director of the NFL Players Association, should be fired now. He should have been gone yesterday or the day before. J.C. Tretter should be fired now. He's the chief strategy officer and the outgoing president. Here's another one.
So are they in cahoots with the league, you think?
I have no idea. Okay. There's all this is, but the bottom line is he should be fired. That's it. There's no justification for not giving this information to your players. There's none. There's no justification in any way, shape, or form. You should be able, again, immediate dismissal from the job. That's on top of the fact that he participated in a $377 million fraud. That's on top of the fact that he's currently being investigated as part of One Team Partners, in which, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, has been misappropriated from players in multiple sports, including the NFL. And this is on top of just the fact that they completely rigged the election to get Lloyd Howell hired. And finally, it's on top of Russell Reynolds, the search firm that found Lloyd Howell. So think about this. The NFL Players Association hired an outside search firm, which is classic in executive America today. And they hired one of the top firms, Russell Reynolds. Russell Reynolds advised them to hire Lloyd Howell and didn't find out what was going on with Lloyd Howell at Booz Allen when he participated in this $377 million fraud. So the company that you paid millions of dollars to vet your candidates and find you the best candidate basically knew that he had quit from Booz Allen, knew that there was a case outstanding against Booz Allen, and didn't go and find out that he was one of the main wheelmen in this fraud. And they recommended him to become the next executive director of the NFL Players Association. If I was a player in free agency, I would get a bunch of other players, who was in free agency this year. I would get a bunch of other players, and I would file a class action lawsuit right now against my own union and against every one of the board members and the player reps who voted for this guy. and get this guy fired immediately. Like,
I'll
this
tell you
is
what, that's funny that, if you look at the little money that the Eagles signed in free agency this year with all their free agents, it's minuscule. And if you look across the board, there wasn't really big signing.
I'm just saying, you're sort of mixing two different subjects. They're interrelated. Don't get me wrong. But there's a difference between arguing over guaranteed money, right?
Yes.
And arguing over the total value of contracts. Okay, there's a difference there, and it's it's a sleight of hand kind of thing. What we're talking about is guaranteed money, and guaranteed money is the most important money for a player.
Those are the signing bonuses, signing bonus money.
Anything that is fully guaranteed is the most important money that a player can get, because most contracts are fraudulent contracts.
Yep.
Because they're not, they're based on future value, and sometimes guys play out their contracts, but 85% of the time they don't play out their contracts because they get hurt, they decline in ability, they outperform it. All sorts of things happen, right? That are as reasons why guys don't fulfill their contracts. So that 4-year, $80 million contract is really 2 years at like $35 million. And I know you've got somebody at the other end going, "Oh, $35 million, I'd play for that." Yeah, of course you would. Of course you would play for that. But it's not, it's the same thing as it's not 80, it's not real. And players in the NFL generally don't ever get anything close to the kind of money that we think that they actually are supposed to get. Or that it's advertised that they're supposed to get. And one of the big reasons is, in this case, is the union, its own union, the guys who were supposed to fight for them, didn't fight for them. The owners are always going to try and keep costs down. If you own a business, like I own a business now, I'm trying to keep my costs down, right? So I understand it. And there's a way you do it, and but this is much higher value, to it. This is much bigger stakes. The only thing I would say that's silly on the part of the owners when it comes to salaries is, look, there's a minimum spend, there's a maximum spend. Everybody understands what the cap is, but there's also a minimum spend. So sometimes they're arguing about money that they have to spend anyways. It's like, you got to spend it.
What do you think, Jason, to close this up, what do you think the next moves are? What do you think this will be towards the league, towards the union? Do you think that, again, because this is one of the, Mike Florio and you guys are on this, because Mike Florio said today, he posted on his Pro Football Talk, he goes, this thing is one of the biggest stories that is not being reported, and yet it's not on any website anywhere. And this was a judge's ruling that came down. What do you think is next with this?
I think there has to be pressure. Like, I think there's going to have to be a lawsuit filed by somebody, some group of players, saying, where was the union? Where was the union on this? Why didn't they tell us what was going on? That's going to have to happen. I think maybe agents will get involved. Maybe players will get involved. But I think somebody's got to start to ask questions like, what the hell is going on here? Why the hell didn't we know about this? And the players have to do it. Now,
do you think you could dissolve the union? Do you think that there'll be pressure?
You're going kind of the wrong direction. I think ultimately the union needs to
clean house.
And clean house. The board of player reps need to get together. They need to have a serious meeting. They need to understand that they got to get people who know football and are honest with them about football involved. The one thing, people criticize Gene Upshaw for a long time, right? But Gene Upshaw was a former player who knew how to stand up and talk to players about the game. He understood what was going on. He knew how, and he knew how to talk to owners. He understood the institution that is football. Okay. And it's hard, but the NFL Players Association is a weak union, not because of leadership. It's weak at leadership right now, but it's generally weak because you got 2,000 players. In the NBA, you really only got about 350, and only about 30 who count, right? And those guys lead the way. In baseball, you got, I don't know, what is it, 25 times 30? So you got, 700 players?
Yeah.
NFL, you got 2,000 players, and all of them are desperate to survive. All of them are desperate to survive. So it's like herding cats. So you need a really strong leader who actually knows something about football. So I think that they got to get together and they got to get a new leader, clear this out, get somebody who's got a plan to run the union, to be honest about running the union, and on top of all that, has a plan for, hey, by the way, the next negotiation on the next collective bargaining agreement has to be done by 2030. That means it's going to start probably in 2027 or 2028. So you got to have a plan for 2027 or 2028 about how you're going to get leverage. And you and I both know the players suck at getting leverage.
Completely. They've never won a lockout or a strike, and they never will.
No, I'll tell you this. I would argue this, and I know that there's a player out there. There's a couple of different players out there. If you threaten today, if you looked at the owners and said, and that when the owners say we're going to lock you out, right? If they threatened that, in today's world, with all the streaming and all the different media outlets and everything that goes on and all the big investment money that there is, not only in this country, but around the world, if you said, you go ahead and lock us out, we're going to play football anyways.
Huh.
I think we can go ahead and get billions of dollars from people who want to invest.
Saudis.
I'd do it. If I was the players, I would say to hell with you guys. We'll go play. And yeah, the stadiums aren't going to be as nice. Okay, they're not going to be, the boxes aren't going to be so great. It's going to be a different thing. Yes, you're not going to be the Green Bay Packers or the Detroit Lions or the Miami Dolphins. But I bet you could get the money. Like if you went to the Saudis and asked them for the money, you get the money from the Saudis right now.
You bet.
To form a league. You could probably get $40 billion from them. You could run a league for 2 years. And while that happens, let the NFL crash and burn. And then you could buy out all the names of the teams once they crash and burn. I would do that right now. I would do that in a heartbeat right now if I was running the union. I would tell the owners, and it's hard, don't get me wrong. Like, you got to do a lot of things to prepare for it. But I would tell the owners, if they said they were going to lock me out, I'd say, good. Because I'm going to go and start my own league, and I'm never coming back. And I know that I can get the investment money. And yes, fans would be pissed.
It's funny you say that because, I mean, Jason, think about it. Look at the teams and the prices that they're going for. I mean, the players have made the league. I get the owners and management.
Look, I have nothing against the owners making as much money as they can. But stop thinking that you can just keep taking from the players and taking from the players and taking from the players. And that you can put pressure on them. This is a new world. This is a new world in media. And I know there are a lot of fans out there going, oh, I'm not going to show up for some team that plays at Franklin Field in Philadelphia that's not named the Eagles. Yeah, you might not. Okay. Initially, you might be pissed off that it's not the Eagles that you know. I get that. I understand that. But if I tell you that, hey, by the way, the price of the ticket's going to be cheaper, and the price of all the other things that you have to buy is going to be cheaper because you don't have to pay the owner anymore. The owner's not taking the money. It's going straight to the owner. It's going straight to the players. All that money, that middleman who is, the owners are basically really rich middlemen between the players and the media companies. Why do they have to exist? What Why do you need the owners when you know you can go get that money somewhere else?
I could probably go to the television networks and get the money too from the TV networks if I had people that were in the building, like Patrick Mahomes, right? If I had Mahomes, this would have to be the quarter. Jace, this is one of the greatest jobs.
You know what I told one person? You want to spend the next 5 years really making the owners nervous? You want to make them really, really nervous? Put Patrick Mahomes on a plane to Dubai.
Wow.
Right? Think about it. Put him on a plane to Dubai. Have him meet with the Saudis in Dubai. Make a big show out of it. Put TJ Watt on the plane with him. Put all the quarterbacks.
Put Dak.
Jalen Hurts. Put Saquon Barkley. Put him on a private jet to go to Saudi Arabia and meet with the Saudis. Or make it a vacation spot, a real vacation spot like Dubai. Do anything like that, okay? Because all of a sudden that's going to make them nervous. And all you have to do, look, this is a poker game, right? And you have to show that you got some bullets in your hand. You got some aces to play in your hand. And if you can do that, you can stop the owners, A, from reducing your percentage, and B, you can get guarantees. You can get better contract. C, you could get lifetime health care. Like guys, yeah, I mean, you know what it's like. I mean, you're dealing with whatever injuries you're dealing with, and your career was not as long as a lot of other guys. But there are guys out there, linemen out there who are sitting there with back injuries, and they know that by the time they hit 60, 65, 70 years old, you know how expensive it is for those guys to get care? It's crazy for how much care they have to get.
So are you saying do something like Live guys did?
Yes.
With PGA. And
I'm not saying something like do it. Do exactly what they did. You know how many investment firms there are in this country, that private investment firms that would lay out billions?
Private equity companies are all over the country.
How about this? Let me throw another one at you. Do you know how much cash Apple has on hand? Cash.
No.
$2 trillion. $2 trillion. Not billion, not million, trillion. They have $2 trillion in cash. If you said to Apple, hey, can you peel off $40 billion to fund us for the next 2 years? And then we'll have a heavy deal with you where you provide all of our games for a while. And you can make all the, a bunch of advertising dollars. Just make sure our guys get paid the same amount of money that they currently get paid.
Man.
Do you think Tim Cook from Apple might
do
it?
Yes. I mean, this is
but here's more importantly, Dan, this is the thing you got to think about. It's not whether it actually happens. It's whether the owners think
it will happen.
Right. Because this is a poker game. This is a negotiation. And just like Jerry Jones would squeeze the nuts off those players when he can to get an extra point on the deal. And I don't blame him. That's business, okay? This is leverage. Just like Jerry Jones would do that, you got to be able to do it back to him and say, "Okay, Jerry, you want to lock us out? Take your gamble and see how it goes."
You think that this could really be the springboard for something like this? Because
I'm saying, look, you got to be prepared to do it. You got to invest some real money. You got to take $200 or $300 million if you're the union and say, I got to invest in, how do I do ticket sales? How do I do security? Where am I going to train? What stadiums am I going to play in, right? Like, how am I going to run my scheduling? Who's going to be lined up? Who am I going to do business with? There's a lot of things you got to do, okay? And you got 5 years to do it.
So you're playing for the big bluff.
It's not a bluff. It is, look, either you deal with us and do it our way and negotiate with us in fair terms, or if you threaten to do the lockout thing again, which you've done in the past, if you lock us out, we're prepared to go play. You want to know one thing from 2011 that nobody's ever really talked about, and I was witness to it. I saw it in St. Louis at the appellate court in the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals in St. Louis, federal court, 3-judge panel. The NFL in 2011, during the middle of the lockout, was arguing that if we reach an impasse, this is part of the NFL's argument. If we reach an impasse, which they did, but if the impasse lasts a certain amount of time, that both sides should be barred for 1 year from playing. In other words, not only were they saying that the owners should be barred from running the game for 1 year, which the owners can do, they can afford it. They were saying that the players don't have a right to work for 1 year. How in the United States of America are you locked out of your job? Like, say the owners of your company said, we're locking you out tomorrow. And by the way, you can't work. In other words, they control your rights to go and feed your family.
Isn't that a monopoly?
Yes. It was so illegal. And when the lawyer for the NFL said it, and I heard it, I went, what the hell did he just say? And I was like, you got to be kidding me. I looked at the 3 judges and they all laughed. Because even in a conservative court like the St. Louis court was at the time, and I don't know what it is now, but it was 2 of those judges were Bush appointees. Okay? Even those guys said, you got to be kidding me that somebody can't work? That you're going to deny somebody the right to work, especially at their given profession? So, like, the NFL owners know what that told me right then is the NFL owners are scared out of their minds that the players will ever figure it out. Right? That they were trying to prevent it from happening in 2011. And that was before the massive explosion in media that we have seen today. Before we've gotten to this point. We're bigger than we've ever been. We have more ways to put stuff out over the airwaves or whatever you call it, the internet, whatever it is, right? We have more ways than ever before. And the NFL, in its own way, thinks that, like the players aren't going to figure it out. Well, if the players ever figure it out and say, hey, by the way, we'll just keep playing. We're not afraid of you. We'll go find somebody who will fund us.
Man.
Is that a bluff or is that a preparation for, it's a poker game. All right. And I would just say this, if I was the head of the union and the owners threatened to lock me out, say, if you lock me out, we're never coming back.
I'll tell you what I would do, Jason. I would go to the UFL. I'd go to Canada. I would do whatever. And I would bring economic, and I would go play, and I would do whatever it took, because you're right. You know what? I think the strongest thing that the owners do is that they divide the players with the haves and the have-nots,
Sure they do.
like you do with the quarterbacks. I mean, this has been one of the greatest conversations you and I have ever had here, because as you can see, this story here, in my opinion, when you're hiding salaries and bonuses and how you do things of business, and you're bitching about voided years a couple weeks ago, you see what you're saying. The owners want to control spending. They want to bring spending down.
And again, I don't blame the owners for wanting to do that. That's business. That's okay. Like, you have, when you're the players and you go into this, you have to understand that's how business works. That's why that's Roger Goodell's job, is to keep spending under control and to make more money for the owners. Okay? That's why the greatest fraud of all time, I shouldn't say the greatest fraud of all time, but the thing that makes me cackle the most about this whole thing is on draft day, when they announce the first round picks. And those guys come ambling down the walkway in their shiny new suits and all What?
It's illegal.
Well, they do. I mean, it's not so much that it's illegal. It is whatever it is. If the guys participate, the guys participate. That might. But who's the person that they amble down and give a giant hug to?
Roger Goodell.
Right. Well, what's Roger's job?
Be the mouthpiece for the owners.
Yeah, he works for the owners, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with the fact that he works for the owners. Okay, that's his job, is to run the game. That's okay. But understand that as he's giving you that giant bear hug, his job is to take as much money out of your wallet as he possibly can. So he's in your pocket. That's his job. It's what he's paid to do. And that's business. So that's why I always say to guys, why are you hugging him? Why are you like? I mean, again, he's a
thief.
He's not evil, but understand, he's not your friend.
No,
he's not your buddy.
He's not. Jason, I got one more for you here.
Okay, go.
I talked to Armando this morning, and I told him what you said about the Hall of Fame process. And he went like this. He said, it sucks. He goes, because how are you going to put, Jason said, getting Breeze and Eli in on the same ballot. He goes, and Armando interrupted me and went, it'll be almost impossible.
Exactly.
He goes, it'll be almost, I go, so why have they made it more difficult? He goes, well, somebody. And he goes, I'm not the gatekeeper of this thing. And he's a voter like you too. And he goes like this. He goes, hey, they changed the rules because they want to make it more difficult to get in. And he brought the same thing you bring up all the time. He goes, well, it all changed after that stupid blue ribbon thing. And he goes like this. He goes, getting Breeze and Eli into the Hall of Fame. He goes like this. There is no way there will be two quarterbacks that are going to go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. No. He said, no way. So he's with you on that process. And have you guys had a conversation about, I mean, is this going to be something set?
Well, we had a meeting with the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I don't know, about 3 weeks ago, a month ago, in which we talked about some of these things. And they're not going to change the system this year. And I don't blame them. You don't want to just change it all the time, right? I get that. Like, you don't want to hopscotch. But I think that it's going to play out that there are going to be a lot of guys who are really close, who aren't going to get in. And all of a sudden, like, there's going to be some bitching on the other way. Because, again, I think there was an overreaction to the blue ribbon process. There was an overreaction to some mediocre guys getting in. There's been an overreaction to some seniors who've been nominated who, frankly, just don't deserve it. Look, Joe Jacoby, great player. But there's a line, and he's not
a Hall of Fame player.
No, he's not. Chuck Howley. No, Harold Carmichael. And I'm probably going to piss off a few Eagles fans, right? But I grew up in an era where Harold Carmichael was a star, an excellent player, and did some really impressive things. But when I watch Harold Carmichael play, I'm like, that's not a Hall of Famer. It's a really good player, like Drew Pearson. Drew Pearson has some big moments. I don't think Drew Pearson's a Hall of Famer. And because here's the thing, when you say that Harold Carmichael and Drew Pearson are Hall of Famers to me, and like I sit there and go, I watch Harold Jackson play. Harold Jackson, who nobody really remembers, played for the Eagles for a little while, played with the Rams for a long time, had a hell of a career. And I watch that guy, and his numbers are as good or better than Carmichael or Drew Pearson. His moments are great too. He was one of the best deep guys ever. He's up there, probably better than Cliff Branch in some ways. Just doesn't have the moment with him. Okay, and I love the guy growing up, and he's right there, but he's not a Hall of Famer. But when we allow guys when we allow the bar to get lowered a little bit and a little bit and a little bit each time, we get closer to where, like, Harold Jackson should be a Hall of Famer. And I can't make that, I can't make that argument, but I can understand the logic of it. So I think we've had an overreaction. I think we're going to have a tough time getting more than 4 guys in. I think that in a couple of years, we'll open it back up where we'll have a chance to get 5 guys in and create a system where 5 guys can get in. But they'll just have to work the numbers a little bit, and there's systems to do it. And that, like 5 modern guys getting in every year is about right.
But don't you have a backlog now of guys that are deserving? You know what he said? I asked him about Simeon Rice, and he goes like this. He goes, a really good player. He goes, but he did exactly what you always do. Hey, look, I'm not going to say he's a Hall of Famer. He goes, Mike Evans is going to get my vote. He's a first ballot guy, what he's accomplished. When you're in the room with Rice, he's going to get it. But the only way I look at things is Ira Kaufman or somebody has to bring a case to you guys. And if you don't bring the case, I'm not going to listen. So I'll listen, but Mike Evans gets my vote. But that's a guy, and how he always defers it, he goes like this. Well, I got to hear that case. And right now, I would need to hear a really strong case, because for me, that guy's not a Hall of Fame player. And he goes, when you hear people say that I need a case for him, he's probably not a Hall of Famer.
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, I'd love to hear it, before we get to the 15, see what it's like, but I don't really see it. But I'll just say this: in this system, in this mathematical system that we've created, okay, and I say I mean the Hall of Fame, okay, because I don't have any. Yeah. I have no say over the system. Okay, I can register my complaints and concerns, and I did, but I don't create it. I don't have that voting power. In this system, there's no shot. There's no shot for a guy like Simeon Rice. The guys, Torrey Holt, Reggie Wayne, it just got harder for them. We got Larry Fitzgerald, probably will jump those guys. I mean, and Torrey Holt and Reggie Wayne, I think, are Hall of Famers. I think those guys deserve.
So a guy like Barkley has no shot.
Well, not today. I mean, Saquon's still got years left. He's got a chance to do some special things. Let's see what Saquon does over the next 3-4 years. Right? I mean, yeah, if you were saying, today would I vote for Saquon Barkley? No. But he's got more time left. See what he does. And if he quits early, okay, then he quits early. And we'll evaluate it then. But he's not done. It's hard to talk about. It's hard to talk about guys who are currently
playing, right?
Because look, I remember thinking about Donovan McNabb, and I thought, oh, this guy's on a Hall of Fame track. And then the last 3-4 years, it
played himself out of it.
Yeah.
Yep. Jason, what a great conversation today, man. I mean, you helped me out a lot on this collusion case, and I'm friends with a bunch of your friends, and I'm so happy that we could talk like this, because you taught me a lot about this case and where we're going here with this. So, Jace, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you so much. Thank you again, man. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Later. Bye.
You got it. That is Jason Cole. And yes, Jason Cole does have a vote. And by the way, he's a business owner. You guys are so ridiculous. Jason Cole owns a business. He's getting a business going, and he is a media guy that works for Yahoo and has for the NFL. So what is he? He works at, what is he, a waiter at Crackleberry? No, he owns a restaurant. And I'm going to make sure I tell him. So when you got, that guy helped you get Eric Allen into the Hall of Fame. And what do you guys say? Jason works at Crackleberry. Crackle Barrel. He owns a restaurant. He just started a business. Yeah, I thought I'd get a waiter on for you guys. Hey, wait a minute. Wait, is that what you guys thought? I mean, so wait a minute. Big Sills has on DDP. By the way, that thing's picking up steam now with all the wrestling outlets. So you guys thought we'd go from Goldberg, Jimmy Johnson, Michael Irvin, that I would put a waiter on for you. Is that what you guys thought? Holy shit. Oh, man. You guys are funny sometimes. Hey, Sills, when's the waiter on? What's the guy who makes the donuts on? Come on, man. Yeah, that's what we do here. Big Sills puts a waiter on. Oh, my God. So you learned a little bit about what the owners. I mean, yeah, he just started. Actually, he's got 2 restaurants he started. Oh, my God. Still has got a waiter on, or a guy who's working at a Crackle Barrel. Yeah, that's exactly what we did. That's hilarious. Holy cow. You guys are like, look at him. He's making donuts. Oh, the guy's a Hall of Fame voter. He's one of the most respected guys in all of pro football. Okay? Good. Hey, bend my best friend over. Listen here. It takes time. You got to remember something about Big Sills. I'm like a mamba. You know the snake, the mamba? Most deadliest snake on the planet. You know what I do? I sit in the weeds, wait, and I wait, and I wait. Then I strike. Then I get you. Then you get Stone Cold on. Then you get Roman Reigns on. Then you get him on. Because I always get, hey, Big Sills always gets his prey. Always remember that. You idiots should know that by now. You sit in the weeds and you wait. See this guy here? You see this guy here? Hey, that's difficult. Let me say this to you. Let me say this to you. Twiz, just so you know, Twiz, when you give me a harder time, not you, when these guys give me a harder time, I am more relentless on you. I want people to tell me, hey, fuck no. And when you don't, I will never let up until I get them. That has been something that I have lived by my entire broadcasting career. Holy shit, Joe Krause is going to kick my ass. I haven't taken a break. I have been on the air 3 hours and 12 minutes, and I haven't taken one break yet. Holy cow. Do me a favor, folks. Make sure you check out my great friends at Morgan & Morgan. Hey, I could sit here and talk for hours, I guess. I don't know, without knowing any better. Xander and those guys have to remind me sometimes to sit there and take breaks. But, hey, our best friend and one of our great friends, John Morgan, started this company years ago, over 25 years ago, and it's the number 1 injury law firm in all of America. $30 billion in recovery. I mean, the stories are endless and legendary on how they fight insurance companies who try to undercut Americans in this country to make sure that these people get the most money and the max money when it comes to settlements. Told you about the family in Pennsylvania that got $30 million, another one down in Florida, $12 million. And the reason why is because Morgan & Morgan wins. For more information, please log on. I'm telling you, if you're ever injured, there is nobody else to check. When you see Morgan & Morgan coming for you, you know you're going to win. By the way, they do not get paid unless you win. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sell, please hit the like button, guys. Super chats, please, if you can. We appreciate you guys. 16 days out until the Chargers report to training camp. By the way, just a little note. Maybe one of you guys can help me out there. So, Mr. Dominatrix, Shannon Sharp, has this guy been fired? Has he been fired from First Take in ESPN? I mean, has this dude been fired? I haven't seen him on ESPN. Is he ever going back? I mean, I know he's a freak show. I mean, at one moment he was going to sign a $100 million contract, and then all of a sudden, he gets caught. This chick and him met up at hotels and beating the shit out of each other. I don't know. I mean, hey, I'm only a reporter here. I'm just reporting. I don't know. I guess they would show up allegedly. There you go. At like hotels around Los Angeles. And I guess they would beat the shit out of one another. I don't know. I guess that's something or a thing. I don't want anybody putting their hands on me. I'm too old and fragile for that shit. You talking about a heart attack. Hell, this guy's got the libido of a 17-year-old. He's running around, beat. I don't know. They said he was going to take a hiatus. What is a hiatus? What is that? He's not been fired, but I haven't heard anything at ESPN about his ass. Okay, hey, Sil's reporting from the streets. Yeah, got my street cred hat on. How you doing? So what's up with Shannon? This guy's like hiding out at night with Ocho Cinco. That looks good. I mean, hey, this guy here, this guy's a walking Viagra tablet. Holy shit. This guy's out hanging out with 20-year-olds. You talk about Bill. You know what's funny? That guy used to rip into Bill Belichick all the time for being weird and this and that. And this guy's out doing a freak show at a hotel. You talk about the Diddy of broadcasting. How you doing? Whoa. Hey, come here, honey. Beat me up. I would hate that. Hey, honey, how you getting aroused by that? Hey, honey, slap me. Man, I don't want anybody hitting me. I mean, I'm like, right? Hey, can you do me hit me with a chair? What is this, WWE sex? Crazy, man. And then, hey, get this. Like ESPN, because that's one of their guys. You know, they're notorious for that. You know, they love that stuff. Oh, by the way, I love Martina. So I tweeted at what's her name? Mina Kimes. So check this out. You guys will love this tweet. So I tweeted Mina Kimes, who I think is an absolute disgusting human being. Just so you know, yes, I think Mina Kimes is a disgusting human being. I mean, I do not have any respect for that chick, for what she stands for, what she doesn't believe in. There's nothing that she does that I believe in anything. And supposedly, Martina, she tweeted this out. I got to get this up here for you guys. Martina and I have gone back and forth. Man, do I love her. I really do. I've got tremendous respect for Martina Navratilova. And let me get this up here. There's the collusion case. Here it is. So get this. The person who beat the piss out of those women at the Olympics now has to return the gold medal because it's a dude. And she defended that guy beating women up. She said, guys like me were pigs. And said that you're homophobic or you're transphobic. I'm like, it's a dude. Whether or not it turned out to be true, she went on Twitter and called me transphobic. Well, now the Olympics have come out and said you have to return your medal because it's a dude. Right. This was a no-brainer. I mean, again, nobody. Look, I don't hate trans people. I don't hate homosexuals. I do not. Everybody has a right to live a life in this country. Totally. I totally believe that. You don't have a right to beat the shit out of a woman and call it legally in the Olympic Games. That person's got to return the gold medal because the Olympics now know it's a dude. And the ESPN putting that false and fake story out. Now you know, I mean, bro, why would you be on the wrong side of history with that? Why would you be on the wrong side of history? Allowing a guy to compete against women is completely unfair. I don't know how that's even, get this, I don't even know how that's a conversation. How'd you get there to that? How did you get there? You know, the craziest thing is listening to people on the Hill when they're asked this question. You know what a woman is? Well, no. Excuse me, I don't understand the question. What? It's not that hard. Maybe the most obvious questions sometimes are the most difficult to answer. I'm a big proponent that this is just absolute wrong. Even John Morgan, who's one of the biggest liberals on the planet, thinks it's bullshit. Sills, I am what I call progressive. Objectively right. Ask a doctor what testosterone does. It makes your muscles dense, even if you're not larger. It does. You get more adrenaline, more ephedrine. Absolutely true. Dude. It's like taking steroids. So, hey, David, figure this out. You ban steroids, but you don't ban dudes because they got higher testosterone than women do. How do you? I mean, you don't have to be a doctor to know this. Get this. Twiz is so right. When did sex and gender become different? I don't know. I think everything's different today. Hey, isn't it funny? You know, one thing I'll say, Twiz, and to some people, man, at least when I grew up, there was more clarity in life than there is now. There's just no clarity. Who won the election? I don't know. What's a woman? I don't know. What's right and wrong? I don't know. Who's this? I don't know. I mean, there's just no clarity. I grew up a time when there was clarity in things. I didn't say we grew up in a perfect time, but at least I knew the difference between right and wrong. Dwayne Wade's daughter cannot go to the WNBA. Unfair. Why? Is he a dude? If he's a dude, he shouldn't go. I mean, by the way, that would never fly anyway. Those women hate Caitlin Clark. Okay? They hate that white chick. You think they're going to let a dude play in their sport? Okay? He's a dude. It's not unfair. Blaine, thank you. Those people are easily offended now. Yeah, because they're afraid to debate. Blaine, believe this. People don't want to debate today. They would rather have you believe in how they believe. I completely hate that thinking. I will never go down that line of thinking. People like to argue with me over politics, religion, all kinds of sports, obviously. And because I don't have your ideology, you get mad at me. Well, because I don't believe in what you believe in, that doesn't make you right either. And people get offended by that. Trust me. You know, there's a lot of people I will not talk politics with because I don't want to. Because it's an ending story and like I don't talk with my kid. I don't. It goes nowhere. I mean, the Caitlin Clark hate is real. But I'm glad she's bringing it also. Makes it fun to watch. Yeah, because it's a great storyline, Ronald. Ronald, that's a great storyline. They hate her. By the way, I'm convinced now it's over race, it's over success, and it's over her greatness. Have there been better players in the history of the NBA that were better than Larry Bird? Of course. Very few, but there have been. Have there been better WNBA players than her? Absolutely. But you know what they haven't had? The storyline that Caitlin Clark has. Her storyline is better than a Diana Taurasi. Diana Taurasi's not interesting to me. Great player. Superstar resume. Didn't move the needle. Look at what made Tiger Woods. What do you think made Tiger Woods one of the most watched athletes in America in the last 70 years? More watched than maybe Arnold and Jack combined. What do you think made him? What made him the opposite of Larry Bird? What do you think made Tiger Woods? Why did you move the needle with Tiger Woods? Golf? I mean, really? You heard Angelo the other day. I'm watching more golf than I am baseball. What made Tiger one of the most watched athletes of all time? This is a really nice one. And work ethic? Well, that's not why I watched him. But okay, there's no wrong answer here. Here's why. He's black. He's Asian. He's in a predominantly white sport. And he's spectacular. That's what resonates. What made Tyson a needle mover? Unpredictability. He's a black athlete in America. He was dangerous. And he was the heavyweight champion of the world. Tyson's unpredictability and his greatness is what made him a needle mover. I mean, Tyson is 60 years old, and he's still getting $25 million to fight when he gets into a ring. You find that crazy? Why? Because Tyson's name, it resonates. He's polarizing. Here, that's a great question. I happen to know Mike a little bit. Here's what I think happened. No, I don't think he raped those girls in Indiana. But I do think he raped, my opinion, a bunch of girls in Vegas. It was just going to catch up with him a matter of time. I mean, and he got more of a conservative judge in Indiana, and that's what happened to him. You're going to get away with that shit in Nevada. Okay? In Nevada, you're going to get away with that. In Indiana, with conservative judges, you're not going to get away with that. And that's exactly what happened to Tyson. His past indiscretions, okay? His past indiscretions caught up with him. And that's why he went to prison. We used to see Mike Tyson all the time in Vegas when we lived there. Don King's a dear friend of mine, and his son is too. I know a lot of middleweight and heavyweight, and a bunch of, as you know, we had George Foreman on here before he passed. I mean, George Foreman was one of my dearest friends. We knew Frazier. Joe was a really great guy. Joe became not a very good guest because boxing had taken its toll on him. And, you know, he had trouble speaking, and it wasn't because he was dumb. Frazier is one of the smartest people I've ever known. But boxing and the CTE and the head trauma had taken its toll on him. Joe was just a great, great dude. I saw him in Vegas a bunch of times. And, yeah, so I'm trying to figure out here. There's a guy I introduced to my wife that was really just one of the great. Let me put this here. Wait. Champion list. And let me see here. Here it is right here. I got to go down. I always have to check my emails. So because I got to remember a couple things here. Let me see here. Yeah. I just remember the email because I just got one. So Virgil Hill was a friend of mine. Like one of my really, when I lived in Vegas, one of my best friends. He's a former light heavyweight champion of the world. But funny, my wife, you know, she knows now, you know, there's nobody we don't know. And so we're sitting back there. Don King had he was having a presser for him. I forget who he was going to fight. Let me see who he's going to fight. I forget who he was going to. Maybe it was Aran Barkley, or maybe he was going to fight Marvin Johnson. I forget. So we're sitting there, and my wife and I, we're at a casino. We're at the Rio. I think the Rio's been shut down. And we were sitting there, and I go, "You want to meet him?" She goes, "You know Virgil Hill?" I said, "Yeah, I know Virgil Hill." And she goes, "You know that guy?" I go, the light heavyweight champion of the world. I go, "I've known him since I was 17 years old." He goes, "You know Virgil?" I go, "Of course I know Virgil Hill." So I go like this. Virgil Hill comes running over, gives me a giant hug. "Oh my God, how you doing? Haven't seen." My wife's looking at me going, "You're pathetic." Oh, the Rio just reopened. Cool. Love that place. One of the greatest buffets in Vegas back in the day. Oh, yeah, man. My wife's looking at me. She goes, "You're pathetic. I can't believe you know Virgil Hill." And I'm like, yeah. Just really an absolutely sensational guy. All right. So I waited until the end of the program. Hey, so CBS. Okay. CBS came out with a list of the top NFL players 25 and under. And let's see if you agree with this. Here's the top players that are 25 and under. So Jamar Chase is number 1. He's 25. Number 2 is Jaden Daniels. Surely there's got to be some Eagles on here. Number 3, I cannot believe this. Penei Sewell is 24 years old. And this guy's already been multiple All-Pros. He's 24 years old. That's insane. Got to be some Eagles on this list. I think CBS hates Philly. Patrick Surtain's number 4 at 25 years old. Guy's first team All-Pro. Number 5, he's 25 years old. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Where's the Eagles? There's the top 5. Number 6, Jahmyr Gibbs. He's 23. He's 6th. Hang on here. Where are these Eagle guys? You guys tell me you got great young talent. Hang on here. Number 7, Sauce Gardner. He's 25. Number 8, Aiden Hutchinson. He's 25 years old. Number 9, Brian Thomas, the receiver from the Jags. He's 22. So wait a minute. You guys don't have a guy in the top 10? You keep telling me you got a lot of young, great players. Number 10, Derek Stingley, first team All-Pro. He's 24. Holy cow. There's a lot of young, great players. Number 11, Kyle Hamilton at number 24. He's 24 years old. He's number 11. Jalen Carter is the 12th best 25 and under player in the league at 24 years old. Now, I might put that a little higher. 20 at 12th? I don't know. That guy, how are you not in the top 10? Puka Nacua is 24. He's 13th. Brock Purdy is 25. He's 14th. These are the top 25 and under players in the NFL. CJ Stroud is 23, is 15. Brock Bowers is 22. He's 16. Trent McDuffie, who I begged you to draft, is 17th. He's 24 years old. Will Anderson is 24. Where are all these young Eagles? He's 18th, Will Anderson. Christian Gonzalez is 22. And he's 19th. Jared Verse He's 24. He's 20th. You got one guy in the top 20 players 25 and under. Malik Neighbors is 22, is 21. BJ Robinson, he's 23 years old, he's 22. Here's Q. Quinyon Mitchell's 23, and he's age 24. And 24 is Drake London. He's 24 years old at 24. And Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, Jets. He's 25. Man, I think CBS hates you guys. Holy Jesus criminy, man. I mean, look, where's Cooper DeJean on that list? Right? Where's Cooper DeJean? He's not on that list? I don't know. All right. I wrote this down here. Is this the best era in Eagle history? I asked this question this morning in Tampa. And I'll ask you, you think this is the greatest era in the history of the franchise? How many years has the Eagles been around? What is it, 90? 90 plus years? Something like that? Okay? Is this the greatest era that you've had? By far. Since 33? Okay. So, I mean, we're talking like 90 years. Right? Okay. This is the best the franchise has ever had. And look, again, 30s, 40s, 50s, I get it, the 60s and shit like that. I don't know. I'm really not really that versed in it. But who has been the most important Philadelphia Eagle in the last 25 years? Since 2000, in the last 25 years, the top 3 Eagles and importance, who have they been? This is the best football you've ever had in your history. Who are the most important Eagles? Number 1, I think it's Jeffrey Lurie. You could make the argument right now he's the hottest owner in pro football. He is the best owner, maybe, in Philadelphia sports history. I mean, if you want to go back to the former owner of the Flyers and you want to talk that, maybe. But Jeffrey Lurie has been the most important Philadelphia Eagle because he bought it from Norman Brayman. He changed the ideology from just not wanting to be a good team to being a Super Bowl team. It has to be the owner. Top 3 Eagles since 2000. I got your owner, number 1. Okay? Number 2. I say it's Andy Reid. And here's why. How did Jeffrey Lurie know how to win? He didn't. Who was the most important person in Jeffrey Lurie's life early when he owned the team? It was Andy. You know why? Andy brought all the things that Mike Holmgren did when he was up in Green Bay. Remember something about Green Bay. Green Bay is not owned by an owner. It's owned by a board of directors. And the board of directors answers to a particular president. And you're kind of like the CEO of the company. And what you do is all the things you do on your plate, when you're the head coach, you run everything. You run the personnel, you hire coaches, you do everything. Kind of what Andy's doing in Kansas City right now. You know, Andy has really taken what he did in Philly. He just brought it to KC. So the owner learned from Andy, hired Joe Banner, hired Howie. Let's not forget, Andy Reid's responsible in some form or fashion for Howie being in the building, right? Am I wrong when I say that? Wasn't Andy Reid and Joe Banner the people that brought Howie Roseman in the building? Am I wrong to say that? You guys tell me. Andy, he's the one, and Joe Banner, they hired Howie. Right? Okay, well, how's Andy? How you hire coaches, how you develop coaches. Right? Okay. Number 3. It's got to be Roseman. Dude, the players are widgets. Because look at this. Since 2000, Jeffrey Lurie, Andy Reid, and now Howie Roseman. You have the owner, the guy who built it, and the guy who's continuing to build it. Let me show you this. And I'll make a comparison to Dallas. Get this. Jerry Jones, most important Cowboy since he's owned the team in 1989. I was there. Most influential person in the last 35 years in Dallas, Jimmy Johnson. Then who? Jimmy Johnson was the coach. Last game he coached was in 94. Who's been the most influential Cowboy in winning? The Cowboy history is in the past. It's not the present. That shows you how far behind. The Cowboys' greatest days under Jerry Jones is in the rearview mirror. The Eagles have been able to take the owner who knew better, get a coach in here who knew how to win, and build the structure. They're doing it in KC the same way. And Howie takes the baton and takes you into new millennium. It's crazy great. This easy in biology 101, birds have XY and girls have XX chromosomes. Okay, Matt D. I got you. All right, folks, don't forget our great friends at Morgan & Morgan. Why are they number one in America when it comes to injury law firms in America? They win. Simple. Coast to coast, thousands of attorneys. Look, if you're ever injured in an Uber anywhere, there is only one injury law firm to call, and it is Morgan & Morgan. I've known John and his wife, Ultima, for over 25 years. And I am promising you when I tell you, they don't get paid unless you win. Simple as that. If you're ever injured, contact my friends at forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. It's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES, Eagles.
So this Ace Bailey guy, man, he didn't want to play in Philly, huh? Especially good show, Sills. Have a good night. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the love. So this Ace Bailey guy didn't want to play in Philly. How could you not want to play in Philadelphia? I get it. The Sixers are a shitty organization. I get it. Man. How could you not want to play in Philly? How could you not want to talk sports in Philly? I don't know. I got it. I don't know if I've ever had more fun in my life talking sports to people. I just don't get it. How could you not want to fucking play in Philly? Hey, and then he ends up in Utah. Utah? Like the crack capital of the world. I mean, that's where you end up is Utah. Good luck, kid. Hey, I'm sure you'll be real popular with the Mormons there. Hey, good for you. You might as well have gone and played in Siberia. Holy cow. Ace Bailey in Salt Lake City. Yeah, that sounds right. A guy named Ace in Salt Lake City. Sure. Hey, you're going to be on your, hey. Oh, my God. How classic is that? Ace Bailey. Where'd you get drafted? Salt Lake City. I didn't want to go to Philly. So where are you going now? I'm going to Salt Lake, home of the Mormons, home of what's that guy, Paul Bunyan? Oh, my God. Anyway, I can't believe, man. Fast. Week's going fast. Dude, we're going to be right here in training camp coming up real soon. So we appreciate each and every single one of you. Thank you guys so much. Joe, Xander, thank you. 2 to 6 tomorrow on a Football Friday, and we'll see you on the flip side.